check, radio check, loud and clear, loud and clear. Thank you everyone for coming along to the live stream. We are 45 minutes away from the start of the Canadian Grand Prix. We have got so much action up ahead of us. It is going to be incredible. All right. Yeah, thanks everyone for coming along. We've already got 1,300 people right at the start of the stream, which is incredible. I don't think we've had this in a very, very long time. And, you know, rightfully so. Everyone's tuning in because this race is going to be absolutely mega. We've got George Russell versus Max Verstappen on the front row of the grid. I mean, this is turn one, lap number one is going to be incredible. We'll wait and see what happens. I've done some analysis over the past couple of years, what typically happens on lap one, turn one, and I'll let you know that shortly. But apart from that, we've got track temperatures now approaching 48 degrees. The sun is really baking the asphalt out in Montreal today. There are no clouds in sight, and the sun is getting hotter and hotter. Well, not the sun, the track is getting hotter and hotter. The sun's staying the same. And yeah, that's going to swing the favour towards McLaren. It's going to swing the favour towards Lando Norris. He's going to need it. He's starting down in 7th position behind Fernando Alonso, Lewis Hamilton, Antonelli, Piastri, Verstappen and Russell. Just a bad quali lap, really. He made a mistake very similar to Charles Leclerc. You know, Leclerc was on for a fantastic lap, got caught out with a bit of dirty air. Isaac Hadjar ended up getting a penalty, in fact, because of he was impeding Charles Leclerc, and he's been dropped back down to 12th position. But yeah, not ideal there for Charles Leclerc. Lando Norris didn't get any sort of traffic issues, but just didn't have a good lap and ended up with himself down in 7th position. I think Gasly is starting in the pit lane because he's just going to modify his setup. He was already going to start in dead last. He didn't have much confidence in the car, and because he didn't have much confidence in the car, they have opted to change the setup a little bit, make it a little bit more suited towards the race and overtaking, because he's going to need to do a lot of it if he's going to score any points. So yeah, that's why he's going to be starting from the pits. Okay. Alright, will Max get his race ban points completed today? Well, we'll wait and see. George Russell in the interview, as soon as qualifying had finished, you know, he was asked, oh, how's it going to go between you and Max into turn one, lap one tomorrow? And George Russell just said, I've got a lot more penalty points to play with compared to Max, basically implying that he's going to take him out. Obviously, that's a bit of a joke, you know, he's not actually going to go and take him out intentionally, I'm pretty sure, but, you know, that's what he said. It's probably just in a bit of a joking way. All right. Isaac impeded Sainz. Okay. And maybe it was for impeding Sainz. And I will just double check. I just saw that Isaac Hadjar got a penalty, and then I didn't actually go and confirm who it was for impeding. But Yuki Tsunoda with a 10th-place grid penalty for overtaking, in red flag conditions. And that's why he is down starting from the pit lane. Then Isaac Hadjar ended up with a grid penalty as well. Let's see, why did he get a grid penalty? What's the most up-to-date news? Yeah, Isaac Hadjar hit with a 3-place grid penalty after impeding Carlos Sainz, actually. Yeah, so it wasn't impeding Charles Leclerc. So the stewards deemed Isaac Hadjar to be good enough and far enough away from Charles Leclerc during the final runs in Q3. So that was fine there, no issues on that side, but he did block Carlos Sainz, so that might have been why Carlos Sainz got eliminated in P16 in Q1. So yeah, a little bit unfortunate for Hadjar having such a great quali, getting knocked down a couple of places, but you know, Carlos Sainz got knocked out because of him, so I think it is fair enough. We've currently got drivers making their way to the end of the pit lane. The green light should be opening, and we'll have drivers coming out into the circuit very, very soon. They're just going to be doing their install laps, their reconnaissance laps. They'll just be checking everything's working before they get underway for the start of the formation lap in the race. Yeah. Okay, tyre strategy. Well, it is start the race on the medium tyres, then go on to the mediums. Start the race on the mediums, go on to the hards, and then go on to another set of hard tyres. That is the predicted strategy by Pirelli, because we've gone a step softer this year compared to last year. So, yeah, softer set of tyres, which means more pit stops, which is fantastic. Another thing here in Canada, in the last 7 years of racing, there's only been one race where we haven't had a safety car. So chance of safety car is pretty high, and the drivers and the teams do have to take that into account with their strategy, you know. Maybe there's a different way about going. Maybe it's better to hang it out long in your middle stint and wait for a safety car to arrive. You know, there's loads of different options. Maybe if you think a safety car is going to happen right at the start of the race, then go out on the softs, hope that you get a good start, good launch, overtake a couple of drivers, and then when you think the safety car is going to come out maybe on lap 3 or 4, then come into the pits. It really opens up the strategy and throws everything wide open, as we saw at the end of Canada two weekends ago. You know, the safety car really mixed everything up and ended up in some pretty exciting racing. Exactly, yeah. The Ferrari strategy is sweating buckets, and they have no idea what to do when the safety car comes out. But should we say Ferrari didn't do too bad of a strategy call last weekend or 2 weekends ago in Spain? It was the Red Bull team that totally messed it up. Yeah. Oh, we've got some spammers in the chat. Not ideal. Thanks mods, MCG and OG Ninja, very much is appreciated. The drivers are out there just making their way towards the grid. They're going to be doing a couple of laps, check everything's working as expected, and then they will go back out onto the cert, and then they'll park up on the starting grid where they will start the race from. Yeah. Sainz was very unlucky, but I think he'll do well in the race. Yeah, the Williams has really good top speed, and I was looking at the top speeds. Verstappen's top speed was very good as well. Compared to George Russell, Russell is actually running the most downforce out of any driver on the grid this weekend, by the looks of it. So his top speed is fairly compromised. I mean, it's not a huge difference. It's only 3, 4, 5 kilometers per hour difference by the end of the straight. But with the assistance of some slipstream and some DRS, that is going to make it a lot easier for Max Verstappen to get past, or Oscar Piastri, or anyone else really. Russell is running the highest level of downforce out of any driver on the grid, so he can go quick through the corners, but then he might be a little bit of a sitting duck down the straights, and well, he's just going to have to take that risk. He went for a sort of qualifying oriented setup, and he's now going to have to fight for his life if he wants to get another race win. Okay. Is there any way that you can watch the race stream without the F1 subscription? There is. There's a link in the description to Surfshark VPN. What you can do is get get Surfshark VPN for $2 a month. Then you can join an Austrian VPN server, and once you do that, then you can just go to Google, you search Servers TV, and then you can watch Formula One for free. The only thing you have to pay for is Surfshark. You don't have to pay for the F1 subscription. So if you guys are interested, then go ahead and check that out. We've got around 300-400 people using it on the channel right now. Yeah. And if it doesn't work for you, you can always get a refund. Alright, 36 minutes left on the clock then. All of the drivers just making their way around the circuit. It shouldn't be too long before they all park up on the grid, and we'll get some strategy. Well, we'll get some strategy choices going through. I'll run through all of the choices of what the teams will have and what could potentially happen today. Another thing, Canada has got one of the shortest pit lanes on the Formula One Canada calendar. I don't know if it's the shortest or not, but certainly the drivers only lose 18 seconds of time, 18 and a half seconds of lap time going into the pit. So doing a two-stop strategy shouldn't be too bad compared to, say, at a circuit like Imola, where you lose 26 seconds, 25 seconds from coming into a pit stop. So that's 7 seconds less than Imola, and it really helps with the two-stop strategies. So I suspect we will be getting a two-stop today. I don't think the hards are going to be lasting right to the end of the race. You can't pull off just a medium and hard strategy, especially because a lot of the drivers have used the medium tyres in qualifying. As we saw yesterday, the soft tyres weren't up to scratch. They were just overheating way too much. So the medium tyres were used, and now most drivers don't actually have fresh sets of mediums. So let's have a look. Who has a fresh set? We've got Oscar Piastri has a fresh set of mediums, Hamilton does, Norris and Leclerc do, and those are the only drivers in the top 10 that have fresh sets of mediums, and they only have one fresh set. All of the other drivers on the grid, they have either 2 used sets or just 1 used set. And it will be interesting to see how that works out and what strategy the teams decide to take. I'm 90% sure it's the shortest. I mean, yeah, fair enough. it will. As far as I can remember, in all of the other circuits, I've never actually seen one that's below 20 seconds. So yeah, I think it is one of the shortest pit lanes on the calendar. All right, which tyre would do great in the final stint? In the final stint, I mean, I think the medium tyres will still be fine in the final stint. The teams could do, if someone's starting at the back like Tsunoda, like Hadjar, like Tsunoda or Gasly or Lawson, they could start out on the hards and maybe use the mediums right at the end of the race. That'll help them out, give them a bit more of an optimal race strategy. The drivers are driving around just on the circuit. They're making sure the car's working as expected, gathering some clutch data and stuff like that, and then they're going to be lining up on the starting grid in about 5 to 10 minutes. Track looks hot. Indeed, it does. 48 degrees Celsius. There's not a cloud in the sky in Montreal, and when the track conditions are warm, it always swings in McLaren's favour. If we look at the race pace simulations, McLaren looked to be the fastest, Red Bull second fastest, and Mercedes third fastest. However, the order has been switched. In quali, Mercedes were the quickest, Red Bull the second quickest, and Pierre and McLaren's the third quickest. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see, really, how this plays out. We're going to have the faster teams approaching from behind, the slower teams defending from the front. It's a recipe for fantastic action. That's all I can say. What's my prediction for turn one? Well, we've seen a lot of incidents between a Mercedes and a Red Bull, or a Mercedes and Max Verstappen. We've seen Verstappen and Hamilton have their fair share of collisions back in 2021. We've seen George Russell and Max Verstappen collide quite a few times here and there, and I guess we'll just wait and see what happens. I think that they'll make it through unscathed. In fact, this is another thing. I've gone back and watched all of the highlights of the Canadian Grand Prix back to 2016, and every single race apart from 2016, so going, the past 7 years, past 8-9 years of racing at the Canadian Grand Prix, we have never had a driver actually make an overtake into turn one, lap one. The last time it happened was 2016. Seb Vettel made an overtake into turn one, overtook both of the Mercs. In fact, he started in third position, got an incredible race start, and overtook the drivers in first and second position, who was Valtteri Bottas and Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton into turn one. And that was the last time we saw overtake into turn one, lap one here in Canada. Before all of the other races after 2016, the driver who was on pole position took away the lead at the end of sector number one. So will that change? Will Max Verstappen send one to the outside? Because this is the other thing here in Montreal. The driver who is on pole position actually has the inside line going into turn number one. And because it's such a short run from the starting grid all the way to turn number one, Verstappen's not going to have the space or the time to actually get to the inside. George Russell will pretty much as a fact have the inside line going to turn number one. Verstappen will have the outside line into one, but then as you go into turn number two, the outside line of turn number one turns into the inside line of turn number two. So that could mix things up, and we'll wait and see what happens there. Okay, I shall take you through a lap of the circuit and show you all the details of the track and what to look out for, where the overtaking zones are. So you come down the back straight, you go through the final corner, and this is the start-finish straight here. In fact, let me just pause it. Where is the pause button? There we go. Okay, so you're pretty much coming down the start-finish straight here, and the starting grid is very close to the end of the straight. Like, this is where the start-finish line is. This is where George Russell's going to start the race, and he's only got probably 300 metres, 400 metres before he hits the brakes again for turn number one, and Russell will be starting on the left-hand side of the grid. Verstappen will be starting on the right-hand side, so that's how it's going to work. And you go down towards turn number one here, and whoever's on the inside line of turn number one will probably take the apex of one. However, turn number two, whoever's on the outside will now get the inside for turn number two, and there's a real good opportunity to swing it around the outside of one, hold the inside line for two, and then squeeze them into the wall. As you can see, on the exit of turn number two, if we just rewind a little bit, you make your way through turn number one. If you hang it around the outside, you get the inside for two. And then what is there on the exit of turn number 2? There's just a barrier. Like if Verstappen is closing the door on George Russell, Russell has no other option other to back out. He's either going to DNF or back out. And, you know, if Russell can avoid it, he will avoid the DNF. So there's a very good opportunity into turn 2 if you want to get an overtake done. But it all relies on getting a good enough race start off the line. And we'll wait and see who can do that. All right. Then you come down towards turn number 2, 3 and 4. You can't really get overtakes done through here. Now it's very much single file. You may have a couple of the drivers in the midfield going side by side up until this point, but after you get through this second chicane, it's just single file as you head towards turn number 8. You've got DRS, of course, not on the opening lap, but on the consequence laps you will have DRS through that part of the circuit. Then you head towards the hairpin. All right, this is the other thing. We have a DRS detection point on the exit of turn number 9. As you can see here on the track map, this green dot here is signifying a DRS detection point. So if you're passing through this point of the circuit and you are less than 1 second from the driver ahead of you, then you're going to get DRS down the next casino straight and also the following straight. This one DRS detection point gives you DRS for the next 2 straights combined. So even if you get an overtake done into here and you're the driver ahead going on to the next straight, you will still have DRS. So this DRS is very, very critical. And we may even see some drivers playing cat and mouse here, braking a little bit early, letting the other driver overtake them as they pass the DRS detection point to ensure that they have DRS coming down the next straight. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out and what the drivers do about that. But that is where the DRS detection point is for that part, for the next 2 zones. And then this green dot here is the DRS detection point for this zone here. Yeah. So you exit turn number 9, you head towards the hairpin. Once again, you just want to brake in a straight line for the hairpin. You maximize your braking force, brake in a straight line, shift your brake balance forward as well a little bit, and just... You could probably get some overtakes done into here as well. However, it's not really that viable to get an overtake done into the chicane unless you're going to have DRS down the next straights as well. Otherwise, you'll get an overtake done into the hairpin, and then you'll just get re-overtaken again down the next straight. So we'll see how the drivers play this one out, and what's the best way to hold position or defend position when trying to overtake or defend into the hairpin and the consequent DRS zones. Then, of course, you've got the final chicane with the wall of champions on the exit, and all the drivers will be trying to do is try to get as close as possible to the wall without hitting it. Piastri was the first driver this weekend to fall foul to the wall of champions, ended up having contact in FP3 and damaged his rear right suspension. They got it fixed though in time for quali, and he ended up starting in 3rd place. F1 Gamer and the time, Formula 1, watching the whole of 24 Hours of Le Mans. That was great racing this year. Yeah, the 24 Hours of Le Mans was pretty good. I think, yeah, Robert Kubica's team won the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which was fantastic, of course. Robert Kubica, an ex-Formula 1 driver. I think it was, when was his last season in Formula 1? Was it 2019 maybe? Maybe 2020, I can't remember. But he was driving for Williams, I can tell you that. Why is the race so late today? The race is so late because it's in Canada. The time zones in Canada make it so that the race is at 2 p.m. Canada time, but yeah, the time zones are different, and that's why the race is a little late. Robert was exhausted at the end. Yeah, I mean, honestly, 24 hours of racing, and then you have to stay up for the majority of that. I mean, it's very, very intense. The stints that the drivers do, 3-4 hour stints in the car, it is a lot of hard work. All right, let's have a look at the Drivers' Championship. As you can see there, Oscar Piastri, 186 points. Lando Norris, 176 points in second position. Then we've got Max Verstappen in third, 137 points for him. And he is 49 points behind Oscar Piastri. So he really cannot afford to get a DNF. And he cannot afford to get a DNF, which will also give him some penalty points. Because let's just consider, this is the worst case scenario here for Max Verstappen. If he gets a DNF this race, and he also gets penalty points, which means that he gets a race ban for next race, that's going to be 2 full races where there's a chance for Oscar Piastri to score 25 points. And currently the gap is 49 points. If Oscar Piastri scores gets 2 more race wins, and Max Verstappen gets a DNF and a race ban, then that points gap is going to go from 49 points to 99 points. And at that point, the championship is pretty much guaranteed to be between Piastri and Norris. Like, there is no coming back from a 99-point deficit. I mean, if he does come back from a 99-point deficit, that would be the greatest comeback in Formula One history. But he's got to be very, very careful now. Any DNF, any race ban or any penalty points could just basically end his chances of the championship, and we haven't even reached the halfway point of the season. So, yeah, Verstappen's got to be careful, but who knows what will happen into turn number 1. Okay, Tsunoda's penalty was ridiculous. I mean, okay, this is the thing, right? It was, I mentioned this during yesterday's stream as well. The penalty was 10-place grid penalty for overtaking under red flags. He overtook a driver when the red flags were out. You know, he had seen the red flags. It wasn't like, oh, the red flags came out and 2 seconds later he accidentally overtook a driver. Like, Tsunoda had seen the red flags and he still overtook a driver. And, you know, the rules are there for the safety of the drivers, for the safety of the marshals, and yeah, they're safety regulations, and they have to be treated with harsh penalties. Otherwise, the drivers and teams are going to start ignoring them, and that's when you get injuries, fatalities on your hands, and that's not what we're going to see happening. So, I agree with the decision for a harsh penalty, and you know, Oliver Behrman got the same thing. He saw the red flags out in Monaco. He still overtook a driver, you know, maybe consciously, maybe unconsciously, but the regulations that are there for the safety of the people of the circuit, and that's why the FIA have such a good track record with safety. Which team or driver do you support? I support Sebastian Vettel. If you have a look at my if you just have a look there, that's Seb Vettel on my wallpaper. Him getting out the car in 2019 for his last win with Ferrari. Seb Vettel's my favourite driver. But if you're asking who I'm supporting on the grid right now, I don't really know. I'm just supporting for some good race, really. We've got Fernando Alonso potentially going on for a top 5 position. You know, he got finally scored some points last weekend now in Spain, 2 points to his name. There's only 2 drivers on the grid as of right now that haven't scored points, and those are Bortoleto and Colapinto. 19th place for Bortoleto, 21st place for Colapinto, and in that 20th place position is Jack Doohan. It just doesn't show up on the championship standings. The other thing that I wanted to mention, folks, I've got a couple more updates on the merch. So I will be releasing merch once the channel hits 200k. We had a giveaway last weekend in Spain because we hit 170k subs. And the winner of the giveaway is Ryzen 4070. So if Ryzen 4070 is in the chat, then send me a DM on Instagram, F1_gamer_5, and I'll send you a discount code for Surfshark VPN. The target for today's giveaway is 176k subs. So if you can hit that, then I'll run another giveaway for next weekend for Surfshark VPN, and then you guys can watch Formula One coverage for free. And yeah, the merch. So let me get the pictures up here. So this is, of course, I've shown this design previously before, but this design to sort of go on the back of a white t-shirt, I think would be pretty cool. And after George Russell getting pole position, I think this is a fantastic shirt. Obviously, I haven't actually made it yet or anything, but that's the first design that I've come up with. And I'm also going to do some designs for racetracks. So this is my first one that I've done for the sort of Nürburgring in Germany. It's obviously got the German flag colours. I do need to sort it out so you can actually see the black on the top. And I also think the Nürburgring itself should probably be white and not change colour so you can actually see the circuit. But this is currently what I'm designing for the track specific merch. I'll obviously be doing driver specific merch, team specific, and track specific. But yeah, it's my first sort of concept. I'll be obviously doing the same for all of the other countries as well. Like Italy will have their tricolours on the Monza circuits. But do let me know what you think of that. And I'll be giving you some more sneak peeks, and then the full merch will get released once we hit 200k. A clean black and white tee with Monaco had Bibro and a small emblem on the chest. Indeed, yeah. I mean, I will be making like sort of clean minimalist t-shirts. I'm not a graphic designer by any stretch, so I won't be making the best world-shattering designs. But yeah. All right, track temperature up at 48 degrees, ladies and gentlemen, 48 degrees. It's going to be fantastic for the McLarens. I mean, the McLaren, Zach Brown was hoping for it to be nice and sunny today, not because obviously the weather's just amazing when it's nice and sunny, it feels great to be outside, but of course, because the track conditions help out the McLaren so much. Also, folks, just a clarification there. I made a mistake up on the screen. It's not Tsunoda starting from the pit lane. It is Lawson and Gasly starting from the pit lane, not Tsunoda and Gasly. So let me just correct that up on the screen. But yeah, Tsunoda wasn't particularly confident yesterday with his car and ended up needing to change his setup. Tsunoda was pretty confident, ended up making it through into getting close to Q3. But yeah, he's going to be starting from 18th position today. Podium predictions. I don't know. Let's have a think then. I think Russell is going to end up on the podium. I think Piastri is going to end up on the podium, and I think let's have a think. Who's it going to be? Maybe Lewis Hamilton. This could be his weekend to shine. Canada is one of his best circuits. I'd say. I mean, I've said this before, but Silverstone, Canada, and Hungary, Lewis Hamilton's 3 best circuits, and this opportunity to shine. Leclerc had a bit of a bad quali lap, made a mistake, and ended up behind Hamilton. So Hamilton, this is his best shot really for a potential podium. We'll see if Max can hold on, but the Red Bull doesn't fare so well in these hot conditions, and maybe that's why he's not going to end up on the podium, but we'll wait and see. If he can get a good launch off into turn number 1, then who knows what will happen. Also, I don't know why, but Russell's GPS is broken, as is standard, really. If you guys have been watching the streams for earlier in the season, Russell's GPS just has a habit of breaking, and for some reason it says he's on the exit of turn number 2 when he's clearly on the starting grid, but oh well. The red dashes on the map just mean the start and the end of Sector 1 and 2. So, yeah, the first red dash is the end of Sector 1, and the second red dash is the end of Sector 2. I don't think it is a Mercedes issue. I think the FIA give the teams the GPSs, but just for whatever reason, Russell's one always breaks. Yeah. I mean, it will probably fix itself once we actually get underway for the formation lap and everything, but still just a little bit strange. All right. Prediction: Franz Hermann's going to win the race. Well, maybe he will. The wind not too heavy today. 6.5 kilometers per hour blowing from the southern direction, but yeah, it's not going to be too much of a concern for the drivers because the next track temperature up to 49 degrees. Oh my god. Yeah, it's just getting hotter and hotter, and overheating, it's going to be overheating galore. I mean, the amount of times I talk about tire degradation, overheating, you guys might as well start playing a drinking game. Actually, don't play a drinking game because you won't be awake for the end of, you won't be conscious for the end of the stream. I hope we'll have radio. Yeah, I think we should get radio. Normally, the radio messages for the race start coming through about 5 minutes or so before the start of the race. F1 Gamer, why is the grip so low? Even the Pirellis say it's 4 out of 5 grip this season. It's the grip at this circuit. I mean, the circuit is fairly smooth, so obviously the smoother it is, the less grip that you have. In a very similar way to, ice is very smooth, and you just slip over it basically. And the other thing is that Pirelli have brought these softest tyres this weekend. They've got the C6s for the softs, the C5s for the mediums, and the C4s for the hards. And they just tend to overheat very quickly. And once they start overheating, your grip levels start going down. All right. At F1 Gamer, I'm watching this race on TV, but still have your commentary on. Well, thank you very much. That is pretty big compliment, as always. That you prefer my commentary over some professional commentary. And yeah, let's have a look at the Constructors' Championship. Actually, this will be interesting. Let's have a look how the teams are doing. So, as you can see there, we have got McLaren 362 points, sorry, and then more than double the points that Ferrari have got. Then Mercedes on 159, Red Bull on 144, and Red Bull might actually lose second place in the constructors, even though they do have the second fastest car, with their number 2 drivers just unable to deliver. There is not much hope for them, and they might end up 4th place in the Constructors' Championships if things continue going the way they are. Another thing I'd like to mention, Nico Hulkenberg, right? Let me just scroll back to the drivers. Nico Hulkenberg is on 16 points here, and if we look at how many points Yuki Tsunoda has scored, he has scored 10 points, and we see Liam Lawson has scored 4. So out of the Red Bull number 2 drivers, Nico Hulkenberg in the Sauber has outscored the Red Bull number 2 drivers. I think that's a pretty good stat. Nico Hulkenberg, what a driver he had last race out in Barcelona, and maybe he'll be able to continue that. He's starting in 11th place today. He got an incredible race start last weekend. Maybe he can replicate the same success here in Montreal. But essentially, yeah, the Red Bull number 2 drivers have had some bad luck, haven't been delivering, just a combination of things, and it seems like that seat is just cursed. And F1 Gamer, if someone is to crash into the World Champions, does that cause a red flag or just a safety car? It will cause a... It's probably going to cause a safety car. It's not going to be a red flag most of the time, because the crashes at the Wall of Champions, typically the drivers just either damage their front right suspension or rear right suspension, which normally means they can drive over to the side of the circuit and sort of park up in a reasonably safe area, and then they'll get a tractor to come out and pick up the car, and they'll get the marshals to clean up the debris. But because they have the ability to just sort of drive away, it's most likely not going to cause a red flag. And yeah, we've seen it loads of times in the past. Drivers crash at the Wall of Champions and it ends up with just a safety car happening. Okay. Which driver do you think will make the most overtakes? I think Lando Norris. I think, actually, no, not Lando Norris. I think Carlos Sainz is going to make the most overtakes. He's starting down in 16th position, and I think that Williams has enough pace for both drivers to end up in the points. So I reckon Carlos Sainz is going to make the most overtakes this weekend. Yeah, let me know who you think. All right, we've got 7,500 people tuned into the live stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in, folks. If you are enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Very much is appreciated. And if we hit 176 subscribers today, then I will do another giveaway for Surfshark VPN. To enter the giveaway, all you have to do is type F1 into the chat, and you get entered into the giveaway. Or you can just type anything into the chat, really. You don't have to type F1. And if it isn't letting you type in chat, you've just got to subscribe for 1 minute. And then once you've subscribed for 1 minute, it lets you type in chat. Alrighty then. What else have we got going on then this weekend? Out in Montreal, we have got all of the drivers sort of just, they're there waiting now to go racing. The risk of rain is 0%, ladies and gentlemen, 0% risk of rain. As is expected, it is so sunny out in Canada. I didn't know it got that sunny. I thought Canada was always just snowing all the time. But no, it's a summer season, and it is nice, and it's a nice toasty 23 degrees. But more importantly, track temperature is up at 49 degrees. Okay. So yeah, things going pretty well so far. We'll have the sort of national anthem ceremony, and then the drivers will make their way back to the cars, get in the car, and get ready to go racing. Let me know what your predictions are, folks. Let me know what you think is going to happen in today's race. Will we have a crash between George Russell and Max Verstappen going into turn number 1? Is that something that's likely to happen? I think so. I don't think they're going to crash each other out, though. I think there will be contact, however. So I guess we'll see. I guess we shall see. Tired of waiting? Yeah, I mean, I'd love for the race to start ASAP, but they've decided it's starting in 10 minutes time, so it's starting in 10 minutes time. F1 Gamer, how are you going to do the giveaway? Don't you need my email or something? I can download all of the chat messages once the stream is finished. So I will randomly select, I'll just get like some code to randomly select a winner, and then on the following stream, I'll just mention who won, and then you guys can DM me if you've won. The person who won last weekend's giveaway is called Ryzen 4070. They won it, but I don't know if they're in the stream today. I think they'll probably be in the stream a little bit later on. Right, so let's talk about a couple of the other drivers further down the pack. Of course, we've got Haas. They are in 13th and 14th position. They made it through into Q2, not into Q3, unfortunately. It is their 200th Grand Prix, the newest Formula One team. They have done a fantastic job on a small budget, and things are looking on the up for them. They have stopped development of this year's car. They've started developing next year's car. They're going to have the Ferrari power unit, of course, next year, and yeah, things are going well, really. Oliver Behrman not doing too badly this season, and Esteban Ocon has settled into the team all right. A couple of bad qualifying sessions here and there, but has settled into the team, and the Haas team will be looking to make up some places, potentially become best of the rest, That is their best. I think the best position Haas have ever been is fourth fastest in the 2018 season, and since then they haven't really reached that close, so maybe 2026 is their year. The Code Monster, thanks for joining the channel membership. Very much is appreciated. You've been a member for 7 months. I mean, that is incredible. 7 months, that is wow. So yeah, thank you very much for supporting the channel, and you've seen the stream improve from 7 months ago to now. Yeah, glad that you're tuning in. Ithane, thanks for the £10 donation. Appreciate your efforts. Hope you've arranged a banger for us today. Honestly, we are going to have a banger. There is no other way to describe it. This race is going to be absolutely mega. Yeah. So a couple of things to run through then. The first of which is going to be that the run into turn number 1. I shall show you an onboard footage of the run into turn number 1. So the drivers, of course, this is the final chicane at the Wall of Champions. You head down the back straight here, the main straight, and you head towards turn number 1. And pole position here just lines up on the left hand side exactly where this grid box is. In fact, I've timed it perfectly. This is the grid box for pole position, and you've got a pretty short run down into turn number 1, and most importantly, you're on the left hand side of the grid, which is actually slightly dirty. A lot of the drivers do drive a little bit more to the right hand side, so it's not the cleanest part of the circuit, but Max Verstappen doesn't really have the clean side of the grid either. The middle of the circuit is the clean part, so none of the drivers, there's not really a clean side and a dirty side this weekend. It's all the same for all of the drivers. However, Russell and any driver with an odd number on their starting grid, they'll be starting on the left-hand side of the grid. Any driver with an even number will be starting on the right-hand side of the grid. So that means going into turn number 1, anyone with an odd number is going to be on the left-hand side with the inside line in turn number 1. But then, if you can hold it round the outside of turn number 1, then there is a real opportunity to be able to send it down the inside for turn number 2. And it is possible to make an overtake like that. We haven't seen it on lap 1 itself, but we have seen it happen before just during normal racing procedures. So we'll wait and see what happens this weekend. If we look back through the archives, there hasn't been an overtake into turn 1, lap 1, at Canada since 2016. That was the last time we got an overtake into turn 1, lap 1, and that overtake was completed by Seb Vettel, none other than Seb Vettel driving in the Ferrari. He overtook both Mercs. In fact, Vettel was starting in 3rd position, got an incredible race start, overtook Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton going into turn number 1 in 2016, and that is the last time we've in fact actually had an overtake into the first couple of corners in Montreal on lap 1. So maybe is this weekend going to be the one that changes it, or are we going to have the drivers lead in the same order that they started the race at? All right, there we're getting the team radios coming through, which is fantastic. We are 5 minutes now away from the start of the race. All right, just a final look at the drivers' standings here. George Russell is actually getting perilously close to Max Verstappen. 111 points for him, 137 for Max Verstappen, not too far away, and a couple of good races here and there. And George Russell could end up actually getting third place in the Constructors, which would be rather unexpected, to be honest. Mercedes have been there, but Russell has been scoring consistent, podiums throughout the season, but he hasn't actually won a race yet. And this is his first pole position. It's his best chance to convert it into a race win. We'll see what he can do. Okay, let me get rid of the championship predictions for now. I'll bring them back up once we're towards the latter stages of the race, when it becomes a little bit more relevant to see how things will play out. F1 Gamer, can you talk about the new regulations regarding the braking system and the material by the FIA? Is it indirectly telling McLaren to change their system by having more stable tyres? I haven't actually seen anything about that. I don't think the FIA are going to be changing braking material mid-season. That's a 2026 sort of regulation change. It's not going to be a mid-season change. Yeah. Why are Gasly and Lawson starting from the pits? They just wanted to change their setup after quali. They both didn't have the greatest qualifying session, and they wanted to change the setup of the car to make it a little bit more stable for race, and that's what they've done. So they're going to be starting from the pits. Okay, and I'll run through the strategy choices once again, folks. So the drivers most likely going to be starting on the medium tyres, and then what you want to be doing is pitting between lap number 15 and 20 for the first pit stop, and then lap number 40 and 45 for your second pit stop. The ideal strategy from Pirelli is medium, hard, and given that track temperatures are now approaching 50 degrees Celsius, it's 49.5, that's going to round to 50, I have a feeling that any drivers that were going to do medium, hard, medium are going to change that very quickly as soon as they get out onto the circuit and observe the tyre wear on the track. And there is the only driver that might be in trouble because of that is Nico Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg is the only driver on the grid that has just one set of hard tyre. Actually, no, Hülkenberg and Bortoleto, both Saubers, only have one set of hards. So things aren't going in their favour particularly. Just from the outset, they don't have the tyres that's going to, the optimal tyres to do the race strategy on. So we'll see how they deal with that. They'll probably just be hoping for a safety car. A couple laps behind the safety car will mean that you're not pushing on the hard tyres or the medium tyres. Whichever tyres you're on, you're not pushing too hard, and you can get away with doing 2 stints on the mediums then. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so we've got around half the grid on the mediums, but Norris and Leclerc starting the race on the hard tyres. So they are going to be going long in the first stint. I mean, the medium tyres can do around 15 laps or so, 15 to 20 laps. And then the hard tyres can do just a little bit longer, not significantly longer, 20 to 25. So the tyre wear difference shouldn't be too big. However, the pace difference will be fairly significant. The mediums and the mediums and the hard tyres have a pace difference around about 0.5 of a second. And Leclerc and Norris are going to be under pressure from Alex Albon, especially because Alex Albon's in the Williams, which has got quite a lot of straight line speed. So Leclerc's going to have his work cut out defending against Albon. And if Albon overtakes Leclerc, then Norris will be struggling to keep him behind. So we'll see how that works out. And then Norris trying to make some progress up the field. That's going to be even harder given that he's on the hard tyres. Alonso, Hamilton, Antonelli, all of the drivers ahead of him are going to be on mediums. Piastri and Hamilton do have a slight advantage. They're going to be starting on a fresh set of medium tyres. A couple of the other drivers, they're going to be starting on used medium tyres, but the tyre wear difference isn't too big. It's only 4 or 5 laps worth of tyre wear on these medium tyres, and most of them were out laps or in laps. There's only one proper hot lap that they've done, except for Antonelli, who's done 2 proper hot laps on his tyres. Right, here we go then, folks. We are 1 minute away from the start of the formation lap here in Montreal, and we'll have all of the drivers lining up. In fact, they're all lined up on the grid, in fact. And once Russell starts moving around, once all the drivers start moving around, Russell's GPS will fix itself and will be good to go for the race. Yeah, I cannot wait. This is going to be super duper exciting. And let me know what your predictions are. Who do you think is going to be winning this Grand Prix? We've got 16,000 people tuned into the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you are enjoying the coverage. And I'll be commentating next weekend in 2 weekends in Austria. That's the next race for Formula One. And of course, I've been commentating all of the practice sessions, all of the races for the past couple of years, and we'll be doing for the next couple of years as well. So if you guys are enjoying the coverage, be sure to subscribe, be sure to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any live streams. Okie dokes. So here we go then. We are getting underway for the formation lap. Let me get rid of this countdown timer. I'm gonna have a quick sip of water, and the drivers are getting ready. All the engineers have moved to the right hand side, to left and right of the grid, and we'll be going racing very, very shortly. All right, here they are then. They're moving around the grid. We should have the GPS system updating shortly. In fact, is it not updating? I don't know what's happening here. The system should be updating. I'll give it a couple seconds. There we go. Russell's moving. And there we go. Very nice. Okay. So everyone's GPS is up to date now. Fantastic. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that as well. Hopefully, we can hit 176k subs. That is the target for the giveaway. If we hit 176k, I'll do another giveaway for Surfshark VPN. Yeah, here we go then. All of the drivers getting ready, weaving left and right, getting those brake temperatures up. That's one key critical thing. The brake temperatures are going to be something to manage for all of the drivers, because it just the problem with the brakes around here is you haven't actually got that many big braking zones. You've got turn number 1 reasonably big and the final hairpin, but apart from that, you have not got that many big braking zones, and the drivers have to be it's pretty difficult to actually maintain those brake temperatures. So we'll see what they do. Max Verstappen was having some issues with the biting of his brakes. So they weren't, giving the correct amount of force at the right time when he pressed on the brake pedal. So hopefully those issues have been resolved. He would have modified his brake settings and stuff like that to get things to work, the hydraulic power levels. The fastest pit stop we've seen all season long has been from Ferrari, the 2-second pit stop this season. Will that get beat? We're going to have 2 pit stops from all of the drivers this weekend. There is pretty much no chance that you're going to be able to do this race on a 1-stop. So 2 pit stop strategy is looking very, very likely. And can you send the details to join Surfshark? There's a link in the description, folks. And if you guys want to watch Formula One for $2 a month, you can get Surfshark VPN. Join an Austrian VPN server. Go onto Google, search Servers TV, and then you can watch Formula One coverage for free. We've got around 400 people or so doing it on the channel right now, so it definitely does work. And if for whatever reason it doesn't work, you can always get a refund. Yeah, and the commentary is in German, so if you don't understand German, you can just mute the commentary and listen to my commentary instead, but you can still watch the actual footage. But that is that. We've now got all 20 cars, well, sorry, not all 20, we've got 18 cars lined up on the grid, 2 cars lining up at the end of the pit lane for Liam Lawson and Pierre Gasly. We're going to have a 2-stop race here, ladies and gentlemen. George Russell, Max Verstappen lined up on the grid already, and we're going to have Max pointing his car right at the nose of George Russell's car. He's going to be looking to cut across as soon as possible, take that outside line into turn number 1. Let's wait and see what happens. But we have got the last car approaching the grid now. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and it is lights out and away we go. Great start there for George Russell. I don't know what's gone on here. The entire GPS system is a little bit out of sync by the looks of it. But I'll get that sorted later on, folks. We've got George Russell up in the lead of this race. Max Verstappen in second place. Antonelli makes his way up into third. Gets ahead of Oscar Piastri. Great start there for Antonelli. It's a Mercedes 1-3. And George Russell leads the way as they go through the first sector. Then we've got Max Verstappen just behind him. Alex Albon gets an overtake done on Franco Colapinto. He just stays ahead of him. Colapinto got a good race start. Alex Albon managed to fight. Oh no, Albon is... Albon just loses the position to Colapinto. Hulkenberg up 2 places up into 9th for him. And we have got George Russell in the lead of this race. Or is it? Yeah, George Russell is in the lead of this race. His GPS is just glitching out. All right. Looking good for George Russell then. But the thing is, he's got to break the DRS, and he is not doing that. The DRS has not been broken. We're having drivers going side by side through the hairpin as well. Loads of chance to get some overtakes done. The GPS is just glitching out today, folks. I do apologize for the issues. I will refresh the data a little bit later on into the stream, but for now, I'm going to wait till and hope it gets resolved amongst itself. Verstappen, though, has got DRS. He is within DRS range now of George Russell. We've got DRS active, and Russell has in fact got DRS. He's got a purple first sector. Fantastic purple first sector there from George Russell, really pushing the car to the limit, and Verstappen uses DRS as he's going down the next straight. DRS has been enabled, and we have got, so from the opening lap, we've got Nico Hulkenberg up 2 places, Albon down 3 places, unfortunately, and we've got Piastri down 1 place. Up in the top 4, only 1 position swapped, and there's Antonelli up into 3rd, Piastri down into 4th. McLaren said this wasn't going to be one of their weekends, and this is a circuit that doesn't suit their car. And it's looking like it's that way. Even though track temperature is up at 50 degrees Celsius, still no chance there for Piastri to get ahead of Antonelli as of right now. All right, across the line they go. We have got Max Verstappen, a 1:16.4 from him, looking fastest lap of the race. They're ever so slightly quicker than George Russell, and he's staying well within the DRS range here. We have got a fight on, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, a 3-way battle for first position. Piastri's already dropped off the back of Antonelli. I don't know what's going on there, but the McLarens just don't have the pace this weekend, and it's Russell versus Verstappen versus Antonelli as they go through the middle sector. Yeah, the GPS is having a bit of a stroke. I mean, it will resolve itself. So I'm just going to let it sit for a little bit. Otherwise, the screen will go blank for about 40 seconds, which is not ideal, of course. If I try to refresh it, so I'm gonna keep it as is, and it normally does work itself out. Antonelli, in fact, drops the DRS on Verstappen, so Verstappen has been pushing extremely hard here. He's not going to have that much tyre life left in his tyres. There's a lot of dust actually flying around the circuit as the drivers make their way through turn number 8 and 9, and that's not helping with the grip levels. But Verstappen, purple in the middle sector, right on George Russell's tail. What can he do? As they come down the start-finish straight, another fastest lap of the race there for George Russell. He is half a second back from... another fast lap of the race for Max Verstappen. He just takes that away from George Russell, and... yeah, who's it going to be, folks? Are we going to see contact between Max Verstappen and George Russell? I will just turn on slow mode. We've got a little bit too many people coming into the chat, and there's a little too many chat messages. There we go, folks. George Russell has got Max Verstappen for company as we go into lap number 4 of 70 in this race. Antonelli is off the back of Verstappen. He doesn't have DRS, but neither does Piastri on Antonelli. So everyone's sort of spreading themselves out already. Alonso, though, is right on the back of Lewis Hamilton. Looking good. So Alonso actually might be trying to make a move here. I think the Aston has got slightly better straight line speed than the Ferrari this weekend. So Alonso could have a chance if he can get a good run out of the final corner. Verstappen, though, he's close now with this DRS, and he's going to try and use it as he comes down the start-finish straight. There we go, coming across the line now. What is the fastest lap for George Russell? 15.9, quickly taken away again by Max Verstappen, a 15.92 for Max, and the GPS has resolved itself, and the timings are now all synced up. As the drivers came across the line, the fastest lap also updated, so that is good to see. Okay, Max Verstappen, though, he's within half a second of George Russell. The problem is, as he goes through turn number 8 and 9, this is where he lost a tenth and a half to George Russell on the quali lap yesterday as well. If you remember back to quali, Verstappen got out-qualified by George Russell by a tenth and a half, and he lost the majority of that time going through turn number 8 and 9, and that is where he's struggling the most with the dirty air. It's the highest speed of the chicanes on the circuit. The drivers go through their 5th gear and then 6th on the exits, or maybe even 7th, depending on how good of a run they get. And what that means is that Max loses a lot of downforce to the dirty air going through 8 and 9, and he gains all of that time back via the DRS, via the slipstream coming down the following straight, but it's just not enough to get close to Russell. And he's going to have to force a mistake from George Russell. Russell is very consistent there. It's going to be tough to force a mistake out of him. We shall wait and see. F1 Gamer, can you show the position gains? Yeah, just give me a sec. Let me just adjust the size of everything so you can see the position gains. There we go. You can see the position gains now. Antonelli gaining 1 position, Hulkenberg up 2, Hadjar up 1, and Tsunoda up 1. Apart from that, everyone else is holding position. Well, yeah, obviously the other drivers that haven't lost positions. Yeah. Verstappen, though, we'll keep our eyes peeled for the radio messages and see what Verstappen's saying. There's he's torn off a visor strip. The sun was probably getting in his eyes, and he's tore off a visor strip to give him a little bit more, a little bit more of a sunglass effect, so he can actually see the racetrack that he's driving on. That'd be nice and helpful, wouldn't it? Why is Leclerc falling back? Well, he's on the hard tyres, that's the thing. So he doesn't have the pace with the McLaren because the McLaren's really good in these hot conditions, and that's why he's falling back. It's kind of to be expected, really. Max is out of DRS. Indeed he is. He loses the DRS on this occasion, and Russell has done just enough. However, the undercut will be pretty powerful here. With the track temperatures up at 50 degrees, we're going to see a lot of tyre wear, and the more tyre wear we see, the more powerful the undercut becomes. So we're approaching now lap number 7. This is halfway to the pit stop window. For the medium tyres, you're going to pit between lap number 15 and lap number 20. Depending on the tyre wear, they may even pit even earlier. So we're going to keep our eyes peeled for these radio messages, and I can guarantee that Max Verstappen is going to try and undercut George Russell, and we'll just have to see if it works. He's going to try and stay within a second or two, because if he's more than 2 seconds back, it's going to be very difficult to make an undercut work. So his best shot is to stay within a second and a half or so of Russell, fall back a little bit so he doesn't get that much of the dirty air effect, and then he can get a good run into, he can have a good chance of overtaking him via the undercut. Of course, Mercedes will try and pit a little bit earlier to prevent the undercut from happening, but we'll wait and see. Looking back at the race start, though, George Russell got a fantastic launch. Had a slightly better reaction time than Max Verstappen, which meant that he got off the line better and didn't have to really defend that much against Max, because he just got a much better start. There was no sort of contest into turn number 1. And we were watching the reason why Albon lost 3 positions. He was trying to go around the outside of turn number 8, except just did not brake enough. Carried a little bit too much speed going through that corner, and then had to go over the gravel and the grass, which caused him to bounce the car, potentially damage the floor a little bit, and then also lose a couple of positions. So that's why he's dropped down from 9th into 12th. It is a two-stop strategy for sure, ladies and gentlemen. It is the medium tyres, then hard tyres, most likely. A couple of drivers might not be able to get that to work, but we'll wait and see what they do. Also, folks, we've got 30,000 people watching. I would just like to let you know, if you're watching this on TikTok, this is someone has stolen my content and is posting it on TikTok, reposting it on TikTok. So if you guys could, move over from TikTok to YouTube. The YouTube channel name is called F1 Gamer. It would very much be appreciated. Probably shouldn't be watching someone that's just stolen my content, essentially. And yeah, if you guys could come over and watch on the YouTube channel, that'd be fantastic. Very much appreciated. But yeah, the channel's called F1 Gamer, and if you're watching on TikTok, the content has been stolen, and it's not actually me who's posting it there. Alonso still within Hamilton's DRS on lap number 8 of this race. He's very, very close to actually losing it, but he's doing his best to stay within DRS range of Lewis Hamilton, and he's getting pulled along, 3/10 of a second every time that DRS flaps open down the straight. It is is very beneficial to Fernando Alonso's race strategy. Lando's going to try and do a one-stop. I mean, maybe. The question really is how good is that McLaren on the tyres? Like, we know it's good on the tyres, but can it survive 70 laps of the Montreal circuit when the track temperature is up at 50 degrees Celsius? That's going to need a totally different level of tyre management. I mean, you're going to need, like, Lando Norris's nickname would have to be Lando Norris, the tyre whisperer, for him to do that. And I don't know if that's possible, really. How much time is lost in the pit lane? The drivers lose 18.5 seconds in the pit lane in Montreal here. So we'll keep an eyes peeled for the gaps as well. So if Verstappen drops into the pits now, he's going to come out in the traffic of Hadjar, Albon, Behrman, Ocon. Like, it doesn't make any sense to come into the pits at this point in the race, because he's just going to come out in a whole bunch of traffic, and then he's not going to be able to get the undercut to work, because there's obviously no blue flags unless he's lapping the cars, which he won't be because he's just come into the pits. All right. F1 Gamer, what is your opinion on Le Mans? Le Mans was fantastic. Robert Kubica ended up winning the Le Mans 24 Hours, which is incredible. So, yeah, fantastic race, really. All right, we're on lap number 10 of 70. I'll quickly take you through a hot lap of the circuit while the action has died down a little bit on the track. I'll take you through a lap of the circuit and what to expect. So you come out of the final chicane here. You got the Wall of Champions on the right hand side. You want to avoid the Wall of Champions at all costs. You don't want to be crashing into there unless you want to become a champion, like Oscar Piastri in FP3. He did crash into that barrier. Is that a good sign? Is that a bad sign? Only time will tell. But you make your way through turn number 1 and 2. What you're going to do is short shift up through here. You're going to get a lot of wheel spin, especially when the track temperatures are this high. So the drivers will be short shifting, trying to minimize as much wheel spin as possible. Through now, they hug the inside line through this bit, breaking a straight line for turn number 6 and 7. It's important to get a late apex at turn number 7, run it all the way out to the wall, and carry as much speed as you possibly can, and get on the throttle as early as possible as well. Leclerc comes over the radio saying the tyres are not great, and I can believe him. He's dropping significantly off the back of Lando Norris. In fact, Norris now has got DRS on Fernando Alonso. Alonso's lost DRS on Hamilton. He must have made a mistake or something, because that gap has opened up to 2.5 seconds. And Norris now on the back of Fernando Alonso, looking to get a move done on the next lap. You come out of the final hairpin here, and you're just going through down the casino straight. You've got DRS through here. The driver's reaching 330 kilometers per hour with the DRS flap open at this point in the straight, and then with some slipstream, maybe even 340 k's. And you come out the final chicane. Don't want to be driving over those curbs too harshly, especially in race conditions. You don't know what will happen if you do it 70 times again and again. Driving over these harsh curbs isn't the best idea. You can get away with it in quali, 1 or 2 times, but 70 times in the race, you don't want to be doing that for certain. Does Alonso have an issue? I don't know. I don't think... Or maybe he does. I don't know what's going on, but Alonso has lost a second to Lewis Hamilton. His tyres wouldn't have fallen off a cliff that badly. Lando Norris just breezes past him down the straight. There was no contest there. But I don't know what's actually happened to Alonso. His pace has suddenly just disappeared. Yeah. On the previous lap, a 117.9. But, he's still up in the points for now. We'll see how it goes. If he gets caught up by Charles Leclerc as well, of course, he was losing time to Lewis Hamilton, so it would make sense that he would lose time to Charles Leclerc, his teammate, but I guess we'll wait and see what happens. Antonelli, oh my God, Antonelli's got DRS here on Max Verstappen. What is going to happen here? We've got Max Verstappen, the 4-time Formula 1 world champion, up against the rookie Kimi Antonelli. Both of them have been extremely feisty in their junior careers, making their way to Formula 1, making some very, very aggressive moves. In fact, Kimi Antonelli made an overtake through Eau Rouge in wet conditions. That was one of the main, the things that stood out, and that's why Toto Wolff was so all over Kimi Antonelli. And what's he going to do? What is happening here between Verstappen and Antonelli? Coming out of the final corner, Antonelli gets a good exit, and Here he goes then. Can he get the overtake done into the chicane? Albon over the radio. They come over, Albon's engineers over the radio, saying that we're monitoring an issue over the power unit. Same as Barcelona, not as bad. Antonelli looks to the inside. Verstappen goes straight into the pit lane. Antonelli doesn't even get the time for the overtake to be done. Verstappen's into the pits, and now he's going to try and undercut George Russell. Looks like the gap has opened up there. I think when Verstappen comes out of the pit lane, he's going to come out just ahead of Colapinto. I mean, it would make no sense for him to come out into traffic. Was it a quick pit stop from the Red Bull crew? Indeed, it was. And a 2.6 second stop. Does he get out ahead of Colapinto? Let's wait and see. He'll of course get to cut turn number 1 because that's just the way the pit lane works, and he gets out just ahead of Colapinto. Okay, good timing there from the Red Bull crew. Now Verstappen, he's got a job to do. He's on a set of hard tires. He's got to attack as much as he possibly can to try and undercut George Russell. Let's keep an eye out on his middle sector time. Okay, we're on lap number 13 of 70. So the pit stop window for the medium tyres is lap number 15 to 20. So Verstappen was really struggling with the tyre wear. That's why Antonelli caught up, and that is why he came into the pits early. Alonso as well having similar issues, I suspect, because Leclerc has already caught up to him. Last lap, Norris overtook him. This lap looks like Leclerc's going to be overtaking Alonso, and the tyre wear has really hit the Aston Martin badly. Russell dives into the pits. He is not about to get undercut by Max Verstappen, and yeah, quickly into the pits is George Russell, and he's going to come out ahead of Max as long as the pit stop goes as expected. Let's keep an eye out on that. I think it's going to be a quick pit stop for the Mercedes crew. Indeed it is. It's a 2.5 second stop. George Russell makes his way out of the pit lane with Max Verstappen coming down the start-finish straight, and a comfortable lead there for George. Okay, and we'll see what Antonelli does. Antonelli in the lead of this race. Is this the first time Antonelli's leading a race? I think he did lead the sprint race, of course, out in Miami. Actually, no, he didn't even lead the sprint race in Miami. He lost the position on turn 1, lap 1. So I think this is the first time Antonelli's leading a race. Pretty nice achievement there for the youngster. We've got Hulkenberg with DRS on George Russell, but that's not going to last particularly long. Russell's on fresh tyres. Hulkenberg is not. And in fact, Verstappen's got to get an overtake done on Hulkenberg. Like, Russell was significantly ahead and managed to come out just ahead of Hulkenberg. Oh, he led in Japan. Okay. Apologies for the mistake. Yeah, the Japanese Grand Prix, I remember waking up at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. to commentate for that one. So yeah, I see why I forgot that race. Yeah. All right, Antonelli also coming into the pits on this lap as expected. So all of the top 3 runners come into the pits. Is Piastri going to try and overcut now, because we know the McLarens are good on their tyres? They've pulled this off before where they tried the overcut strategy, and they're going to, pit 5, 6, 7 laps after the other drivers and then re-overtake them after the pit stops because they'll be on significantly fresher tyres. Are the McLaren slower because of the new front wing rule? Maybe because of the new front wing rule, but also because of because this circuit just doesn't suit their car that much. I don't know exactly what it is, but they weren't. Yeah, they're just not particularly good at this circuit. It was something to do with the curbs, and also just the type of corners that you have. Like, you have a lot of chicanes, a lot of change of direction, and apparently the McLaren car isn't good for that. So I don't know. It's sometimes a little bit unpredictable. I don't really believe whenever these drivers come out in the press conference being like, oh yeah, our car's not suited to this, but it seems like it's that way because normally McLarens are quite a way up the road. Alisai, thanks for the $14 donation. Very much is appreciated. Oh, Canadian dollar as well. So I guess you're watching from Canada. Not having a TV thanks to your good commentary. Well, thank you very much. I hope you are enjoying it. Hamilton over the radio. They come over the radio to him. Box. He was just got overtaken by Lando Norris, and Hamilton also dives into the pit lane. Fantastic. Okay. We are on lap number 16 of 70 then, so we've got Alonso into the pits as well, so we'll see what tyres he comes out on, but it's going to be hard tyres, I think, for Lewis. Yeah, by the looks of it, hard tyres for Lewis Hamilton. As expected, the Pirelli strategy is medium, hard, so makes sense that they're going out on the hard tyres, and things are looking pretty good. Alonso, though, coming out right in 17th position. He's going to come out in clean air, but the gap between himself and Hamilton, I mean, look at all of that traffic. It is huge. What happened to Hadjar? Hadjar came into the pits. That's why he's down in 20th position. Yeah, he's done a pit stop. How to watch F1, folks. If you guys do want to watch Formula One for a much cheaper price than normal, rather than paying ESPN or Sky Sports or whatever, you can get Surfshark VPN. There's a link in the description for that. You join an Austrian VPN server. You go into Google, you search Servers TV, and then you can watch Formula One. You make an account on Servers TV. You can log in and. Yeah, and then you can watch Formula One for free. The only thing you have to pay for is Surfshark VPN. We've got around 400 or so people using it on the channel right now, so go ahead and check that out if you guys are interested. Okay, and we have got Oscar Piastri into the pits as well. So 15 laps of racing on those medium tyres. 17 laps of racing on those medium tyres for Oscar Piastri, and he comes into the pits. Alrighty, good pit stop there from the McLaren crew, and now we've got Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc leading the race. Of course, these drivers are on the hard tyres. The only drivers yet to come into the pits who started on the mediums, Nico Hülkenberg, Alex Albon, and Oliver Behrman. Everyone else who started the race on the mediums has now pit onto the soft tyres. The hard tyres. Is the TikTok thief still going? I think so, yeah. So, folks, if you're watching the stream on TikTok, the content has been stolen off YouTube and someone's just reposting it on TikTok. If you want to watch the original creator, the channel is called F1 Gamer, and I'd very much be appreciated if you guys left the sort of TikTok stream that's just been stolen off YouTube and watch the YouTube stream instead. Okay, Lando Norris, fastest first sector. Oh, look at that. So clean air now for Lando Norris. He's got some pace. The medium tyres, the hard tyres still look like they've got some a reasonable amount of wear in them, and he can push reasonably hard. So not too shabby there from Lando Norris, and a personal best lap as well, a 16.2. Of course, slower than the drivers who are on fresh hard tyres, but regardless, his pace is holding up pretty well on those hards. Isn't he looking at the 25 or 26 car primarily? He's looking at the 26 car. There is sort of not much more development going on the Aston Martin for 2025. Everything is now focused on the 2026 situation. Hülkenberg up in 6th position. He is up in 6th, but he hasn't come into the pits yet. So once everyone comes through the pit stops, then we'll get an idea of what the pecking order is looking like. Okay. Yeah, we have got... We're on lap number 18 now. So still, the hard tyres can do between 20 and 25 laps. So it should be pretty soon now. We'll start seeing some of the drivers who started the race on the hards also coming into the pits. But a pretty good job from Alex Albon, Nico Hülkenberg, and Oliver Behrman. They're doing a pretty good job of managing these tyres. Otherwise, they would have worn out pretty quickly, as seen from Fernando Alonso, as seen from Max Verstappen. So, yeah, they're doing a solid job, and hopefully that helps them out in the race strategy. The overcut didn't work. Not really. I mean, the thing is now, he's only got 3 or 4 lap fresher tyres, has Oscar Piastri compared to Kimi Antonelli. So it's not like he's going to have a huge pace advantage. Like, he did just set a fastest lap of the race, but that's because he got a toe off Nico Hülkenberg coming through the final chicane. Coming down the Casino Straight, sorry. And the Casino Straight, obviously, is pretty long, and that's why he's got a fastest lap. So, yeah. He's going to catch up to the back of Antonelli, I think, but I don't think he'll have the pace advantage to overtake him. But who knows? Oscar Piastri can surprise us. He's done it before. He might be able to do it again. All right. Yeah, Ocon onto the back of Albon, and we've got Hamilton on the back of Ocon and Sainz off the back of Hamilton. Nice little DRS train there. Hamilton getting perilously close to overtaking Esteban Ocon into turn 8. I mean, that would be a bit of a ridiculous move to get it done into turn number 8. But as he passes through the DRS detection point, he is well within 1 second of Esteban Ocon. He'll have DRS down the following straight, and he'll be looking to make a move into the Wall of Champions chicane. Yeah, Hamilton unfortunately out in a bit of traffic. What can you do? Oh, we've got Nico Hülkenberg into the pits there after 20 laps of racing on those medium tyres. He comes into the pits. Good job there. And Hamilton, does he get ahead of Esteban Ocon? No, because Ocon gets ahead of Albon and Hamilton gets ahead of Albon. Okay, so he's still stuck behind Ocon, but he did get an overtake done on Albon. And now we've got the two Williams next to each other, Sainz and Albon, on different strategies. Albon on the mediums, Sainz on the hards. They've swapped the positions around. I don't know if that was intentional or not. We'll keep an eye out on the radio messages, but I think Sainz just overtook him on pure pace. Albon's medium tyres are really cooked, to be honest. 23 laps on mediums. Pirelli said you could only really do 20 on them, and with track temperatures about 50 degrees, I don't think Pirelli were expecting it to be this hot. The pit stop delay in Canada, 18.5 seconds, so it's 18.5 seconds. So if Lando Norris comes into the pits now, he's going to come out behind Oscar Piastri, but ahead of Esteban Ocon and Lewis Hamilton. So, yeah, it's worked out well for Norris. He's jumped ahead of Alonso, jumped ahead of Hamilton. So good going there from him. Fastest first sector there from Max Verstappen, personal best lap as well. And what's he trying to do now? He's trying to close up to the back of Russell and also maintain that gap to Antonelli. It's a pretty sizable gap, to be fair. It's currently sat at 5 seconds, so not too shabby for Max Verstappen. Antonelli was getting close at the end of the previous stint, and of course he will probably get close at the end of this stint as well. The Red Bull isn't so great on its tyres compared to the McLarens or Mercedes, so we'll wait and see. Mercedes also, they were pretty bad on their tyres. Back in Saudi Arabia, it was very hot out in the desert, and they were wearing out their tyres like it was like no tomorrow. But they brought an upgrade package, I think at Imola, or maybe another race before that. And since that upgrade package, the car has been performing a lot more consistently, and the tyre wear isn't so bad either. Leclerc will jump Hamilton, by the way. Will he jump Hamilton? Let's see. He will actually. Leclerc will jump Hamilton. That's pretty good going from Charles Leclerc then. Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of clean air. Hamilton was stuck in dirty air in the first stint. Norris and Leclerc have had a whole bunch of clean air since everyone came into the pits, and that's where they're gaining their lap time. Hamilton's been stuck in traffic. He was overtaking Sainz, then he was overtaking Albon, then he was overtaking Ocon, and Charles Leclerc has jumped him. So pretty good going there from Charles Leclerc, and Hamilton, unfortunately, getting screwed over by the strategy. But if the tyres are wearing out, there's not much you can really do. You're going to have to come into the pit sooner rather than later, and a lot of the drivers are struggling for the tyres. You can see just these marks on the tyres from where they've been worn away and the graining occurring on these tyres. So everyone being super duper cautious, and if someone tries to push these medium tyres a little bit too long, like Alex Albon, he's done 25 laps now on the mediums. If he tries to go to 30 laps, then I don't know, maybe there's a puncture chance happening there. I think Albon might actually be trying a one-stop strategy here. If he can go 30 laps on the mediums, he will be able to do 40 laps on the hards. And even though Pirelli suggests you can only do 20 to 25, Alex Albon is a tyre whisperer. He will be able to get it to work. And I think that's what they're going to try for Alex Albon, because the pace outright isn't looking all that fantastic for Williams. So they're going to have to try something interesting with a strategy. How many seconds in front to consider clean air? Probably about three seconds of 3 seconds. If you haven't got a driver within 3 seconds ahead of you, then you've probably got clean air. That's probably the best definition of it. Norris doing a one-stop, maybe. I mean, see, if you want to do a one-stop on the hard, and you started the race on the hard tyres, you're going to have to do 40 laps or so on the hards before you can pull off a one-stop. So we still don't really know. Norris could come in on the next lap. He could also come in 20 laps time, and that will dictate whether he's doing a one-stop strategy. As of right now, it's too hard to tell. Max is almost in DRS range of George Russell. The gap currently 1.2 seconds, and looking good there. Alonso gets ahead of Albon. Albon's tyres are wearing out, and the one-stop strategy, I think that is what he's doing. It would make no sense for him to hang it out on medium tyres for this long if he wasn't going to do a one-stop. What spare tyres does Max have? Max has 2 sets of hards, so his next stint probably will be another set of hard tyres. Okay, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, folks. But thank you everyone for tuning in. We've got 36,000 people tuning into live stream. Folks, if you only hit the like button, be sure to do so. And if you haven't subscribed as well, that'd very much be appreciated. Hopefully we can hit 176k subs today. And if we do hit 176k subs, I'll be doing a giveaway for Surfshark VPN, so you guys can watch Formula 1 for free. You don't even have to pay the $2 for Surfshark. So if you guys are interested, go ahead and check that out. And to enter the giveaway, all you have to do is type a message into the chat. That's all. So any message will work. Just type a single message into the chat and you've entered into the giveaway. But of course we've got to hit 176k subs first for me to actually do it. Yeah. Oh, someone goes into the pits. That's Alex Alwan. Okay, so he's done 24 laps on the medium tires. Is he going to try to do 47 laps on hards? I guess we'll wait and see, isn't it? Yeah. It's gonna be a tough one. If there's a safety car, let's say there's a safety car for 4 or 5 or 6 laps, that will be perfect. That means he can back off a little bit, cool down the tires, and then he can go again. And that would make it quite straightforward, really, to make it to the end of the race on one set of tires. But without a safety car, it's gonna be hard. Leclerc's come over the radio saying, "I think Plan C." Ferrari have just said copy, which is a good thing. Yeah. All right. Oh, also the winner for last weekend's giveaway is Ryzen 4070. So if Ryzen 4070 is in the chat, just send me a DM on Instagram, F1_gamer_5, and I'll send you a code for Surfshark VPN so you can watch the coverage for free. All right, here we are then, lap number 25 of 70. The hard tyre run is still yet to stop. Pirelli said you could do between 20 and 25 laps on the hard tyres. Maybe we'll see a couple of drivers coming into the pits, but not a single one of the drivers that started the race on the hard tyres has come into the pits yet. Every single one of the medium tyre runners have. Oh, in fact, as I say that, Lance Stroll dives into the pit lane, started the race on the hards. What tyres is he going to choose for a second stint? I think it's going to be... It's another set of hard tyres yet for Lance Stroll. Very nice. Okay. Ryan Peterson, thanks for joining the channel membership. Very much is appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for supporting the channel. All right. Oh, also the amount of subscribers is actually increasing. I just don't think. Yeah, I didn't have it updating. There we go. We've updated. 172k subscribers is currently what we're at. So yeah, if you guys continue subscribing, then we'll get towards 176. George Russell, purple lap, fastest lap of the race, and he's within 0.6 of Charles Leclerc, getting pretty close to catching up. He's going to have DRS on this next lap, and that will make the overtake fairly straightforward. He's got 13 lap old hard tyres, and Leclerc has got 25 lap old hard tyres. So it's going to be a fairly straightforward overtake, given that George Russell has got much more pace than Leclerc, given that he also got pole position. Is hard, medium possible? It is potentially possible, but not a lot of the drivers have 2 sets of medium tyres, so that's the issue. Frank, thanks for the donation. Very much is appreciated, buddy. Yeah. F1 needs to hire you for your broadcast. Well, I mean, it would be fantastic to commentate for Formula 1, but then I wouldn't be commentating for the F1 Gamer channel. And which one would I rather do? I don't know, actually. I mean, well, I think it would be pretty safe to say getting flown around the world to commentate Formula 1 would be a pretty amazing dream job. Yeah. All right. Russell gets the overtake done on Charles Leclerc and into 13th and 14th position. Very nice. Not 13th and 14th. Overtake done into turn number 13 and 14. All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, and we have got George Russell chasing down Lando Norris, and Norris hasn't even come into the pits yet. That is how good and how quick George Russell is, and that's how far behind Lando Norris is as well. Yeah. Okay, someone sacrificed for a safety car. I mean, who do you want to see sacrificed for a safety car, folks? We're at the Canadian Grand Prix. Surely don't say Lance Stroll. It is his home Grand Prix. We've got a lot of Canadian fans here rooting for him. Yeah, it would much more be nice to see Stroll finish his home race. All right, another fastest lap of the race there for George Russell. This guy is a man on a mission. Verstappen's trying to chase him down, but he just absolutely cannot. On the previous lap, he's half a second slower. So very, very good going there from George Russell. We've got Verstappen now. He's got DRS on Charles Leclerc. Is he able to make the overtake, or is he going to be a little bit too far back? Currently going into the Wall of Champion chicane, he's too far back. Maybe into turn number 1, he'll have a good chance if he can get a good run. Charles Leclerc's charging up his battery. He is unconcerned that Verstappen is approaching behind him. He knows they're not in the same battle, to be honest. So he probably shouldn't hold Verstappen up too much. But we'll wait and see how it goes for Charles. Yeah, Verstappen's practically pushing Leclerc through the first sector at this point. Ooh, purple first sector there from Antonelli on the previous lap. Loses it on this lap, but regardless, very, very quick indeed. And now Verstappen is extremely close, so he should be able to get an overtake done this lap. And Russell is now fast approaching on the back of Norris. Lewis is having a bit of a lonely race. Indeed he is. I mean, look at that gap. He is, 12, 13 seconds off the back of Piastri, and he's 7 seconds ahead of Ocon. A bit of a no man's land there for Lewis Hamilton. He got caught up in the traffic. That was the big problem, really. He got caught up behind Ocon and Behrman and Sainz and Albon, and that cost him a lot of time, and that's why Antonelli and Piastri are up the road. Leclerc's just been told over the radio, box. Is he diving straight into the pits? Yes, he is. And that's not an issue then for Max Verstappen. He gets that overtake done, by default, really, because Leclerc just dived into the pits. The TikTok thief's name is Black Box, reportedly. Yeah, folks, if you are watching this on TikTok, be sure to come over to YouTube. Someone has stolen my content on TikTok and is reposting it to YouTube. Is reposting it to TikTok, sorry. And yeah, they've taken my content off YouTube, posting it onto TikTok. So if you search up the F1 Gamer channel on YouTube, then you can come over and watch the footage. Yeah, the original person actually doing the commentary, not someone that's just stolen it. And that would very much be appreciated. So, yeah, go ahead and come along to YouTube. And we've got, 37,000 people in the chat here. So that would be, nice to have more people in the chat rather than, I don't know how many there are on TikTok, but it's probably like 100 or 200 or something like that. All right, we've got Fernando overtaking Yuki Tsunoda. Pretty good job there from Alonso, and Tsunoda is just not having the best time, to be honest. He's on those hard tyres, 28 laps he's done on those hards. He might be trying for a one-stop, actually. A lot of these drivers... Oh, Norris comes into the pits. He's done 30 laps on the hards. Now, that's not going to work. He's not going to be able to do 42 laps on a set of medium tyres. However, if some of these drivers do 10 more laps on the hard tyres, then it is very likely that they'll be doing a one-stop for the rest of the race. So we shall wait and see. We shall wait and see what happens. I think I saw a radio message earlier saying Hamilton lost a bit of downforce. Could explain why he's not going as quickly as the front runners? Maybe that's what it is. If we're looking at the lap times there, Hamilton doing a 1:16.2, and the other front runners doing 1:15 point something. So, yeah. It is what it is. Leclerc's just come out of the pits now in a fresh set, and he's jumped Lewis Hamilton, in fact. Leclerc started behind Hamilton. He's now ahead of him. And same thing for Norris as well. Norris started behind Hamilton, and he's now ahead of him. Okie dokes. Piastri, fastest lap of the race. Sorry, not fastest lap of the race. Fastest first sector. And he's going to now try and chase down Kimi Antonelli. And Verstappen's going to try and chase down George Russell, but Russell's doing a pretty good job here, consistent lap after consistent lap, and Verstappen can't really catch up. It's going to be a tough one, really. Leclerc says, why did we box? Why do we have to box? And then we're on plan B. What? Leclerc said plan C. I am thinking plan C. Ferrari said copy, and then Leclerc said the tyres are fine, and then Ferrari still tell him to come into the pits. What? This makes... Ferrari, what are you doing? If Leclerc said plan C, he was planning on doing a one-stop, and now you've just changed the strategy. I mean, Typical Ferrari, really. I'm not surprised. But Leclerc explicitly said, Plan C, the tyres are okay. Ferrari replied back saying copy, and then they're like, oh no, we'll just go on to Plan B without telling Leclerc. We'll just tell him to come into the pits regardless. Shocking performance from Ferrari. Absolutely shocking. Fastest lap of the race there for Piastri. He's looking to catch up to the back of Antonelli. He's only going a tenth quicker, really, than Antonelli. Everyone at the front on pretty similar sort of lap times. Yeah, Verstappen makes, in fact, a little mistake there on the previous lap. 116 for him, and Russell and Antonelli are down in the 115.6 or 4. All right, they're coming over the radio to Alonso saying, be gentle into the entry of turn number 3 and gentle entry into turn number 3 and 8. And Alonso replies, we are racing, not testing. So Alonso's not having any of it. And he's trying to keep that points paying position. He is, I think once Ocon and Sainz come into the pits, Alonso will be in a net 8th position. And that should work out pretty well for him. But he's said it pretty clearly. We're racing, not testing, and he can't do too much tyre management. He's got to start pushing at some point, and especially if he's going for a 2-stop strategy, there's not too much worries. He can still push reasonably hard on a set of hard tyres. Fastest lap of the race from Lando Norris, actually. Now he's quite a ways back from Oscar Piastri. He's 7 seconds back from his teammate, but we shall wait and see if he can close that gap up. On the previous lap, though, he is setting fastest lap of the race, but it's not by this huge margin. Again, only by, a tenth of a second. So, yeah, everyone's setting fairly consistent, close lap times to each other. Alright, folks. Also, if you're enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Very much is appreciated, folks. And look forward to commentating to you guys for the Austrian Grand Prix in 2 weekends' time. Yeah. Currently, we're in a little bit of a lull of action. We're going to have the next set of pit stops come through. Also, Lando Norris, he's on a set of medium tyres now. So let me just double check if Lando Norris has 2 sets of mediums. Because if he does, then this might work out for him quite nicely. So, does Lando Norris have 2 sets of medium tyres? No, he only has 1 set, actually. So, his second stint is going to be on a set of hards. But on this stint, he's going to try and catch up to Piastri, because Piastri's second stint will be on hard tyres. So, they'll be on level pegging in the final stint. But now's the time for Lando Norris to gain time on his teammate, because he's got the fresher tyres, he's got the quicker tyres, and it's now or never for Norris. Okay. Alex Albon, unfortunately, down in 20th position. However, he is doing a one-stop strategy by the looks of it. He's going to be going right to the end of this race, conserving his tyres as much as possible. And yeah, that's the plan there for Alex Albon. So all of the other drivers most likely going to do a 2-stop. I mean, Leclerc probably would have done a 1-stop if Ferrari had any common sense. But yeah, Albon, that's what he's trying to do. Oliver Behrman had a little mistake there going into turn number 8. The rear of the car just giving way as he turned into the corner. Got away with it. Just skimmed the gravel and the grass and still kept half of the car on the circuit. So not too many issues there. But Behrman dropping off the back of Hadjar after he was pretty close. 14 laps on those medium tyres, and the mistakes are starting to creep in. And look at this, folks. The previous lap between Russell, a 1:15.6, Verstappen, a 1:16.2. There's a 0.6 of a second gap there on the previous lap between Russell and Verstappen. It is opening up, and we are reaching the end of the hard tyre stint. And again, the hard tyres are now wearing out. In the same way that the medium tyres wore out at the end of their stint, the hard tyres are wearing out for Max Verstappen much quicker than they are for George Russell, and the lap times are dropping off quicker and quicker. But there's still 37 laps after this race. Verstappen has to extend this stint further. Lando Norris is pushing like crazy. He got the last lap of the race, or last lap was also fastest lap of the race. Now he's fastest first sector, fastest second sector. He's got a whole bunch of clean air to catch up to his teammate. Let's see what he can do. Carlos Sainz on the back of Fernando Alonso. He's going to try and close up to the back of him, but Alonso's tyres also wearing out as well. On the previous lap, his pace has dropped off. Yep. So as we saw on the first stint, the medium tyres, Verstappen and Alonso's tyres basically started falling off at the same time. It started to happen again. Alonso's lap times falling off, and Carlos Sainz behind him catching up. Another fastest lap of the race now for Lando Norris, and this time he goes 0.3 quicker than Piastri's previous lap. Why does Hamilton look so defeated? It's because he's just in a bit of a no man's land, really. He's been sort of screwed over by the Ferrari strategy. He got put into traffic after his first pit stop, got jumped by Leclerc and Norris, and is now down in 7th position. So, yeah, there's not much you can really say to Lewis Hamilton. He's just been screwed over by Ferrari. Oh, Sainz is falling back. Okay, there we go. Well, we'll see. We'll see if Sainz can hold on to the back of Alonso. It'll be tight. The two Spaniards, of course. Oh, apologies, folks. Apologies. I was paying attention to the wrong thing. I just saw I thought it was the overtake the other way around, but apologies. But it looks like, actually, given now we're on lap number 36, we have reached the halfway point of the race, and Bortoleto, Tsunoda, Sainz, and Ocon, all of the drivers are still out on the hard tyres. So they're all trying to do a one-stop strategy by the looks of it. They're going to do probably 3-4 more laps on a set of hard tyres, and then they're going to come into the pits, do 30 laps on the mediums. Of course, nobody has done 30 laps on the mediums. The most that we've seen is 27 from Alex Albon, but the one benefit that the drivers will have is that the cars will be lighter. They will have burnt off about half the fuel, even more than half of the fuel, and that means they're going to be 50, 60 kilograms lighter, and that's just going to put less load through the tires, less sliding, and that should help them out. But track temperature is still pinned at 50 degrees. Like, it is not shifting whatsoever. The sun is baking the asphalt, and 50 degrees has been the temperature all race long. And you would have expected the McLarens to be good in these hot conditions, but not this weekend. Piastri struggling to catch up to the back of Antonelli. Antonelli could be on for his first podium here, ladies and gentlemen. We are approaching the halfway point of this race, and in fact, let me put up the championship standings. Oh, Lewis Hamilton's got damage. Lewis Hamilton's got damage, folks. Would like to clarify that. That's why Hamilton is so far back. They have just come over the radio. Hamilton said, we've just a bit of a boring race. We're a bit off the back of everyone. And Ferrari come back saying, the pace is good considering the damage. So, unfortunately there for Lewis Hamilton. He's been jumped by Norris and Leclerc. I don't know where he got damage from, but he has got damage, and that's costing him a lot of lap time. All right, let's see. What was I going to do? Championship standings. Here we go. So, as you can see there, George Russell's going to be gaining 25 points, closing up that gap to Max Verstappen. We'll see how if he can keep that going, and if he can maybe overtake Max Verstappen. There's a definite chance that could happen. It'll be interesting to see what goes on there, though. Norris again, fastest purple in the first sector. He is really pushing, and Alonso now catching up to the back of Ocon. So Ocon on 36 lap old hard tyres, and Alonso on 22 lap old hard tyres manages to get the overtake done. And Verstappen, after his tyres falling off a little bit, he has dived into the pits, and he's going to try and hold on to that second position. Is it going to be a quick pit stop for the Red Bull crew? Indeed it is. 2.2 second stop, and Verstappen is going to be coming out on a set of hard tyres to do the final stint of the race. On 33 laps he's going to have to do this final stint on one set of hards, and that is definitely doable. Currently we've got drivers doing 36, 37, 38 laps, so no issues there. Please, a safety car? Maybe we'll get a safety car. Who knows? We'll need someone to crash, though. We'll need someone to crash. I mean, in Formula 1 history, I think it's now 12 times or something. 12 times we've had a race without a single DNF. This might be the 13th one.
I can't remember the stat exactly. Obviously, it keeps updating every so often. In this new turbo hybrid era, with all of these reliable cars, it's quite often we get races. Well, not quite often, but maybe one race a year that we get with no DNFs. I think it's now up to 12 races that we've had without DNFs in Formula One. How does Hamilton have damage? I have no idea. Oh, Antonelli's into the pits there, looking to not lose too much time to Max Verstappen, essentially. Verstappen will come into the pits, obviously, to get a slight undercut. Antonelli is coming into the pits as well to try to not lose too much lap time to Max. George Russell has got enough pace in his car and got enough pace in his tyres that even if Verstappen's going to try and undercut him, Russell will just be able to drive off into the distance. Which lap are we on? Folks, you can see the lap on the bottom left of the screen there, just next to the timer above the sub counter, lap number 39 of 70. 32 laps left of this race. Okay, so we've got 38,000 people tuning into the live stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Folks, if you are enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. It very much is appreciated. Yeah, hopefully we can hit 176k subs today. If we hit 176k subs, I'll do a Surfshark giveaway. And oh yeah, I should probably mention Surfshark VPN, given that they've sponsored the stream. Yeah, if you guys do want to watch Formula One for only $2 a month rather than the normal $30 or $40, whatever it is, in your respective country, then you can get Surfshark VPN. You can join an Austrian VPN server, and then you go onto Google, you search Service TV, and you can watch Formula One coverage. We've currently got 300, 400 people watching it using this method. So it does work, and if you guys are interested, check out the link in the description. There is a link to Surfshark VPN. Yeah, I think that's about it, really. And if it doesn't work for you, you can always get a refund. And the other thing, the commentary is in German, so if you don't understand German, then you can always mute the coverage, still actually watch all of the footage, but just listen to me commentating. Oh, apparently a groundhog went under Lewis Hamilton's car. Interesting. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe someone just made that up in the chat, but potentially that's what happened. I'm not sure that happened though. I will double check, just see if Ferrari have released anything that will inform us of what sort of damage, what caused the damage on Lewis Hamilton's car. Okay, hit a beaver, maybe. I mean, apparently he's carrying damage, but yeah, it says that he's carrying damage, but it doesn't say what caused the damage, so no idea. A little bit unfortunate, to be honest, but hey ho. Right. Here we go then. Robert Kubica won the 24 Hours of Le Mans. That was pretty good, wasn't it? All right, up in the lead of this race, we have got George Russell in first position, Oscar Piastri in second place, Norris in third. But those positions aren't final positions because Piastri and Norris still yet to do their final pit stops. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. F1 Gamer, show the constructors. Oh yeah, I will show the constructors actually. There we go, that's the constructors' standings. McLaren gaining 33 points, Mercedes also gaining 33 points, Ferrari plus 18, Red Bull plus 10, and yeah, that's the constructor standings. In fact, I think that's about it. We should probably just keep the radios up. I don't think there's any point of having the constructor standings or the championship standings up all of the time. I'll put them up a little bit later on once we get close to the end of the race. Race is boring. Yeah, well, who knows? It is a little bit boring, but all we've got to wait for is really one crash and a safety car, and then everything's back up in the air again. So it is what it is. I do apologize, but I also have no control over what's happening here in Formula One. Right, let's see what other strategy things are going on then. Ocon Sainz Sonoda still going 42 laps now on hard tyres. I mean, I know what they're hoping for. They're hoping for a safety car right about now, because what that will do is they'll gain around 7, 8, 9. They'll gain 9 seconds under the pit stops compared to everyone else. Normally you lose 18 seconds in a pit stop at Montreal. If you pit under safety car or virtual safety car conditions, you'll only lose 9 seconds. So a huge saving in terms of pit time, and that will really help out their strategy. So we'll wait and see. If there's a safety car, George Russell's just been told to come into the pits, box for him, and he's going to be switching on to a set of hards to go to the end of the race on. He's done 29 laps on this set of hards. He'll have 29 laps to do on the next set as well. If Yuki has to pit now, he'll be in last position. Will he? Yeah, he probably will, actually. Actually, no, he will be ahead of. He'll be ahead of Lawson, I think. Lawson has had a pretty rough race, to be honest. Started out in the pit lane and hasn't gained that many positions since. Also, folks, who would you say is your driver of the day? I don't know. For me personally, I don't think anyone has really stood out that much. Maybe Antonelli. He's done a good job getting ahead of Piastri on the start of the race, and then just good laps from him consistently. Potentially, on his way to a podium. Leclerc, Piastri, Norris, all yet to pit. Could be Antonelli for his first podium. That would be fantastic. Okay, yeah, Hadjar gets up ahead of Pierre Gasly. Nice job there from Isaac Hadjar. What tyres would Norris switch to if he had to box? He would switch onto a set of hard tyres. He doesn't have another set of mediums. He only has one set, and he's currently driving on them, so he'll be going onto a set of hards to the end of the race. Alrighty then. Yeah. Also, folks, if you're watching this stream out on TikTok, it's been reposted by someone who's stealing my content. So if you guys want to watch the original sort of content creator, or the commentator, as you will, it's the YouTube channel is called F1 Gamer on YouTube. So if you go ahead and search that up, it should be the first one that comes up. We've got 38,000 people watching the live stream. And yeah, hope to see you guys there. Ideally not watching someone that's just stealing my content on TikTok. Yeah, very much would be appreciated. Okay, so right at the back of the pack, we've got a fair amount of action, to be honest, at the back of the pack. It's just not right at the front, which is where we normally want it to be. But Bortoletto, Colapinto, Hadjar, Behrman, Gasly, and Stroll. Behrman just gets an overtake done onto Gasly there, very nicely done, going through the wall of champions. Fantastic overtake there from Ollie Behrman, and up into 16th position for him. I mean, Gasly, look at what is he doing? 43 laps on a set of hard tyres. That is incredible. And all of these other drivers still yet to pit now. So actually everyone apart from Russell, Verstappen and Antonelli are yet to do a pit stop to go to the end of this race, as far as I can tell, apart from Lawson and Albon. Okay, Lawson, Albon, Antonelli, Verstappen and Russell. Those 5 drivers have got no more pit stops left. Everyone else, though, still yet to come into the pits, and things could get pretty mixed up. All right, Hamilton should go on to the mediums. Well, let's see. Has Hamilton got another set of medium tyres to go onto, or will he be forced to go onto the hards because he has no other choice? Hamilton, let's have a look at his tyre options. He only has one set of mediums as well, unfortunately, so he will have to go out onto a second set of hards, even though he's quite likely to make it to the end of the race on a set of mediums now. With only 26 laps left to go, he's going to have to go out on the hards because he just doesn't have another set of medium tyres. Safety car, maybe we'll get a safety car. I mean, who knows? I can't predict when one's going to happen. But Oscar Piastri dives into the pits now, diving in for a fresh set of hard tyres by the looks of it. Is that going to be a fresh set of hards, or is it going to be mediums for Piastri? It is hards. All right, Piastri coming out in 5th position, I think. Yeah, he's going to come out ahead of Hamilton. He is way up the road. In fact, Hamilton dives into the pits as well. He's going to be coming out on a set of hards. Bortoletto holding everyone back for Nico Hulkenberg. Indeed, he is. Bortoletto on a set of hard tyres is doing a pretty good defensive job. I mean, that defensive job might stop working right now with Colapinto in that Alpine. It's a little bit down on power, but with the slipstream and DRS, it might be a little bit too easy for Colapinto to get an overtake done. So let's wait and see what happens there. Are they trying a one-stop strat for Leclerc? They were trying a one-stop strat for Leclerc, but yeah, they can't do 2 stints on hards. They have to pick a different tyre. So once Leclerc comes into the pits, he'll be doing a pit stop for a set of mediums. Oh, Hamilton out just ahead of Alonso. It is so close between Hamilton and Alonso. But the thing is, Alonso is still yet to pit. So yeah, that's not going to matter because Alonso's going to drop back and he's probably going to come out. Yeah, Alonso's still going to be in net 8th position after everyone comes in for their pit stops. Still net 8, so pretty good going there from Fernando. Oh, Gasly coming over the radio saying that Stroll pushed him and he should be getting a penalty, ran him onto the grass. And yeah, Stroll, he did not leave him enough space. It was very marginal and there was probably he should have given him maybe 30 centimeters more space, but he didn't. He run him off the road, so we'll see if that goes under investigation. It is currently under investigation. It's been noted, sorry. It's not under investigation. Actually, it's now under investigation. Just got the message from race control. Lando Norris has been told to box, so he'll be coming into the pits on this lap, giving up the lead of this race, dropping back down to 7th position by the looks of it. Oh, 6th position, sorry. If Yuki pits, he ends up in last right. He'll end up in 19th. He won't end up in 20th, I think. He will still be out ahead of Liam Lawson. Alrighty, folks. Yeah, we got 38,000 people, 39,000 people tuned into the live stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Also, folks, you know, I'll lower the subscriber target. I'll drop the subscriber target down to 175k subs. If we hit 175k subs, I shall do a subscriber giveaway. I'll do a giveaway for Surfshark VPN. So, folks, if you aren't subscribed, all you've got to do to enter the giveaway is hit the subscribe button, and you've got to type a message into chat, and that's it. You get entered into the giveaway. And if you win, then you get to win a couple of months of Surfshark VPN, so you can watch Formula 1 via Service TV, via Austria, for free. Yeah, we've got 300, 400 people using that method right now. There's a link to Surfshark VPN in the description if you guys are interested. All you've got to do is join an Austrian VPN server, then go onto Google and search Service TV, make an account, log in, and job done. But yeah, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hopefully we can hit 175k subs. Anyone new coming from TikTok as well, be sure to subscribe and be sure to hit the like button as well. Alright, 23 laps left of this race, folks, and we have got Charles Leclerc in the lead. He has still yet to do a pit stop, though, and Russell is only 2.6 seconds behind him. Oh, we've got a retiree. Who is that? Alex Albon, yellow flag. Oh, come on, Albon. You could have parked up in a different position, man. Give us a safety car. But... folks, Alex Albon, at the start of the race, there was a radio message sent over to him by his engineers saying that we're monitoring an issue on the power unit. It's the same issue as Barcelona, but it's not as bad. And clearly, the issue has got worse and worse as the race has gone on. Alex Albon forced to retire from this Grand Prix. He's parked up right in a super duper safe position. Come on, Alex. I mean, you could have told us that the race. You could have figured out the race was going to be boring, and you could have parked up on the side of the road, but apparently not. All right. Also, folks, Lance Stroll has been given a 10-second time penalty for forcing a driver off the track. He forced Pierre Gasly off the circuit, and a 10-second time penalty has been sent his way. Unfortunate there for Lance Stroll. He's down in 17th position. Another 10-second time penalty will drop him back into 18th, and that's going to be second from last at his home Grand Prix. Suboptimal, to say the least, for his home race. He is, he's going to be 10 positions behind his teammate as well. Not a good showing. Stroll being Stroll, indeed he is. All right. Yeah, getting pretty getting pretty close to our subscriber target. And ooh, look at this. The gaps up at the front, really, folks, aren't that big. And I would like to point out, in the previous couple of stints, Verstappen's pace has dropped off right at the end of the race, and the Mercedes' pace has not dropped off. Currently, the gap between Verstappen and Antonelli, 1.7 seconds. So maybe on the final lap, not the final lap, maybe in the final 5-10 laps or so of the race, we're going to get some battling between Antonelli and Verstappen for second place in this race. This would be very exciting indeed, won't it? And we've seen it in the past two stints, on the medium tyre stint for the first one and on the hard tyre stints for the second one. Verstappen's tyre started to go off, he started to drop back from George Russell, and Antonelli started to close up. Maybe it's going to happen again. Who knows? Let me know what you think. Will Antonelli get second position? Will he end up in third place for the podium? Will Oscar Piastri catch him? Because look at this, Piastri, ladies and gentlemen, it's purple. The race was a little boring. I admit, right? I admit the race was boring. However, it is just it's about to get a whole lot more spicy. We've got Oscar Piastri closing up to the back of Antonelli, and Antonelli closing up to the back of Max Verstappen, and we're going to have a three-way fight for second position, ladies and gentlemen. A three-way fight for second position. Can't get much better than that. Well, you can get a three-way fight for first place, but George Russell's doing a pretty good job up in the lead of this race. Okay, yeah, Norris takes that fastest lap away from Piastri. Both McLaren drivers have been told to maximum attack right now, and let's keep our eyes peeled on that gap. Piastri 1.2 seconds off the back of Antonelli now. This is for a podium. If Antonelli loses the position, he loses this first ever potential Formula 1 podium. So Antonelli's going to be fighting this one tooth and nail, and let's wait and see what happens. Fernando Alonso dives into the pits. Still, Ocon, Sainz, tyre whisperers. Honestly, incredible job. 50 laps now. 50 laps on a set of hard tyres. Jihu, thanks for the £2 donation. Very much is appreciated, buddy. Okay. Yeah, they come over the radio to Piastri saying, Leclerc's pace is dropping off. It's a straight fight between you, Verstappen, and Antonelli for second place. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Who is going to take it? Verstappen versus Antonelli versus Piastri. They come across the line. Piastri doesn't improve on his lap. Lando Norris does. He gains 0.4 of a second on his teammates. It is all hotting up here in the final 19 laps of the Canadian Grand Prix. We are getting some really good battling. Well, we're going to get some really good battling because Piastri is within DRS range of Kimi Antonelli. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Charles still hasn't pitted yet. Charles Leclerc is hoping for a safety car. That's all he's hoping for. If a safety car comes out now, he's going to come out just between the McLarens, splitting Piastri and Norris. If the safety car comes out, if he pits now, he's going to come out. If he pits without a safety car, he's going to be 8 seconds behind from Norris. So that's all he's hoping for. That's what Ocon, that's what Sainz, that's what Tsunoda, they're all hoping for now. Just a safety car to come out, get them a free pit stop, and save their race. But who knows if that will happen? Maybe a battle between Piastri and Antonelli could result in one of them crashing and giving us a safety car. Let's wait and see, though. Oscar's within DRS range. He's got the slipstream. He's got the DRS, and he is pushing like crazy here, trying to keep up with Antonelli, trying to close down on Antonelli. He's practically pushing him through turn number 2 there. The concertina effect is really helping him out, and the dirty air, though, is doing the opposite thing. So we'll see what happens there for Oscar Piastri. How long can he hold it in Antonelli's DRS? Because the closer, and look at this, folks, the fastest sectors have been held by both of the McLaren drivers. They're in P1 and P2 for the fastest sectors in in all three of them. So clearly the McLarens have got some race pace, and clearly they're attacking, and they've got much fresher tyres as well. Look at that. Antonelli 14-lap-old hard tyres, Piastri 7-lap-old hard tyres, and we've got Norris, who's still setting purple sectors, and he's on 5-lap-old hard tyres. They are going pedal to the metal, maximum attack right to the end of this race. Here we go then. Antonelli has the slip. Antonelli is giving a slipstream to Piastri. Piastri with the DRS, with the slipstream. What can he do to the inside of the World Champion chicane? He stays off the back of Antonelli for this one. Doesn't even look to the inside. He's looking to get the overtake done into turn number 1. He stays close enough. He's gaining. Does he look to the left-hand side? No, he doesn't. He's going to stay tucked right in, and he's going to wait for he's going to, not send a sort of just an opportunistic move in a couple of laps early. He's going to wait till he's right on the tail of Antonelli, force a mistake out of him as well. I mean, Antonelli is a rookie. You've got to remember. He made quite a few mistakes in practice, in fact, and there's a chance that Piastri could force another mistake out of him. So we'll keep our eyes peeled. But Norris is again pushing very, very hard. Leclerc came into the pits finally, hoping to get a free pit stop. Unfortunately, comes into the pits. He's done too many laps on those hard tyres to be driving around, and now he's gone 17 laps to push on a set of mediums right to the end of the race. He's got a gap of 10 seconds to close up to Norris. It's possible, and especially if Antonelli, Piastri, and Norris start battling, then it is definitely possible. But Antonelli, in fact, dropping Piastri. I think Piastri made a mistake somewhere. I'm not sure where it was, but he loses a bit of time. In fact, he's charging his battery as he's going down the straights. So Piastri, he's waiting to attack. He is, Antonelli may be using up all of his battery. Oscar Piastri, however, normally when the drivers are deploying the battery down the straights, Oscar Piastri is recharging his battery. So he's building up for a big attack closer to the end of this Grand Prix. All right, Fernando Alonso, in fact, second fastest in the first sector. Looking good from him. He's on a set of hard tyres, 4-lap old hard tyres, and he's going to be looking to make his way up back into a net 8th position. Ocon, Sainz, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Sainz and Tsunoda, still 55 laps they've done on a set of hard tyres, and they're still going. Wow. Okay, here they are then, through turn number 8 and 9. It's quite easy to lose the rear because of dirty air and understeer through that corner, but Piastri keeps it tight, and here he is now heading towards the hairpin. Will he be able to get a good run? He goes a little bit deep, tries to get a late apex and a good exit out onto the straight, and he does so, but Antonelli has done the same thing as well. He's got a good exit, and the gap is 7/10 at the start of the straight. It's just a little bit too big for him to close it up by the time he gets to the Wall of Champions. In fact, Piastri is deploying all of his battery. It looks like he was charging it up on the last lap. He's pressed the overtake button on this lap, and Antonelli under pressure into turn number 1. Piastri looking like he can pull one off to the inside. Can he? He sends one to the inside. Antonelli sees it coming, and he just avoids Oscar Piastri. Piastri was never getting that overtake done. It was a little bit too late. He's trying to emulate his fellow Australian Danny Rick, sending one to the inside late on the brakes, but couldn't pull that one off. And Lando Norris is fast approaching, ladies and gentlemen. Another fastest lap of the race, and the final 15 laps of this Montreal Grand Prix is going to be absolutely incredible. Okay, here we go then. What's it going to be? Who is going to be making up these places? All right, let me get a quick sip of water. All right, here we go then. Oscar Piastri has got he's got DRS once again, but he's just a little bit too far back. Look at that, 9/10 of a second. He's coming up on traffic. Lawson is traffic for Antonelli. In fact, helping him out, actually, giving him a slipstream, giving him a tow, and Lawson now blocking Piastri. He'll get out of the way, in fact, coming down this next straight. But yeah, not ideal for Oscar, and of course that helped him out a little bit. That helped Antonelli out. But who knows? Antonelli could get his first podium. It could be Oscar Piastri ending up on the podium for another time this season, or will Lando Norris come and overtake both of them? We got, also, the gap up at the front was much bigger, and Verstappen now is closing up to the back of Russell. I mean, Russell's had a bit of issues with traffic here and there. He's got, who is it? Colapinto and Behrman up ahead of him now, so that's slowing him down a little bit, but Max Verstappen is approaching, and yeah, Liam Lawson into the pits. He's retired from this race. That is the end of that. The power unit, having another power unit issue for Liam Lawson. Not ideal, to say the least. Air temperature also up to 25 degrees. It's a lot hotter than it typically is in Montreal, and the power unit's not coping with it too nicely. Oh, Sonoda finally into the pits now, and here comes Oscar Piastri once again now gaining on Antonelli, but he's too far back to get an overtake done. He's going to recharge his battery, give it another shot, and fastest middle sector for Lando Norris, fastest first sector for Charles Leclerc. And still, Sainz is waiting it out. So is Ocon. They're just hoping for a safety car to appear. I don't know where a safety car is going to appear from, but it's incredible. They're 58 laps on a set of hard tyres. Max is getting within DRS range here. He's getting within DRS range. No more traffic for Russell and Verstappen right till the end of the race now. It's going to be clean running, just a straight fight between Russell and Verstappen, and then Antonelli, Piastri, and Norris. This is going to be really good. Antonelli, in fact, getting the benefit again. The traffic helping him out. Colapinto gives him a tow, gives him a DRS as he passes down the sort of back straight there. On the left-hand side of the track. Alonso up gets ahead of Carlos Sainz. Fair enough, Alonso's on 7-lap-old tyres. Carlos Sainz is on 58-lap-old tyres. That was going to be a fairly straightforward overtake if I've seen one. Ocon and Sainz finally both dive into the pits. After doing so many laps on the hard tyres, they both come into the pits on the same lap. 2.6 second stop for Sainz, 3 second stop for Ocon. And Piastri's in fact fell off the back of Antonelli, and Norris has closed up. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. The top 5 all within 5 seconds, 6 seconds of each other. Could not ask for anything better. Now, is it looking like a 5-way fight for first position? Maybe not, but everyone is slowly but surely converging on each other. The advantage is towards the McLarens, of course. They have got the fresher tyres, but they're also going to be in the most dirty air. They're going to have the dirty air coming off Russell, Verstappen, Antonelli's car, all 3 of them combined. Who's it going to be, ladies and gentlemen? What do you think the podium's going to be? Is it going to be Max Verstappen, Russell, Antonelli? Will it stay in this way that it currently is? Will we see Piastri jump up into second place and Antonelli drop down, or what's going to happen? Because it's all about to kick off with 12 laps left to go here. Oh, on the previous lap, Verstappen actually goes slower than Russell. Russell seems like he's got a lot of pace left in his pace left in his tires, because he's just pulled off a 14.5, which is pretty similar to what Leclerc is doing, and Leclerc's on a fresh set of mediums. So Russell has still got more pace left in the bank. So maybe a fight is not on for first and second place, or at least first place. Maybe a fight for second, third, and fourth. Norris is right on the back here. Are we going to get an Inter-McLaren battle? We have been waiting for an Inter-McLaren battle all season long. Here we are, round number 10 of the Formula 1 season. We are approaching the halfway point of the season. We've got 24 races in total, round number 10 now, and finally we're starting to see what might be the beginnings of a McLaren rivalry. There are only 10 points between the two drivers in the World Drivers' Championship as of right now, and the gap between them on the circuit, 9/10 of a second, 8/10 of a second. We get the points prediction for the championship up on the screen. Indeed, I will. There we go. Let me put it up for the drivers. There we go. We're going to have the drivers' points positions up on the screen. We'll have George Russell, of course, gaining 25 points. Max Verstappen gaining 18 for second place. And then we'll have, of course, Antonelli with 15, Piastri with 12, Norris with 10. If it stays in this current way, but I don't think it is, because Norris is getting perilously close to his teammate, and we'll keep our eyes out for the radio messages as well. Is Norris gonna come over the radio saying, "Oh yeah, I'm quicker than Piastri. Let's swap us around and I'll overtake Antonelli"? Is that what he's gonna come over the radio to say, or is he just gonna go straight fighting with his teammate? Let's wait and see. Okie dokes, folks. Thank you everyone for tuning in. By the way, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that as well. If we hit 175k subs, I will do a giveaway for Surfshark VPN. And yeah, race is going pretty well so far, pretty well. And here comes Lando Norris and heading towards the hairpin. He is so close to Oscar Piastri. He's now going to have the DRS. Piastri does not have the DRS of Antonelli ahead of him because the gap is 1.5 seconds. And Piastri already on the inside line. He's already on the inside line, not giving his teammate DRS and not giving his teammate a slipstream. And fair enough, you know, they are in a championship battle. Isaac, thanks for the $5 donation. Half the grid being lapped is nuts. Indeed it is. We haven't had a safety car, no yellow flags, no virtual safety car, nothing. And that's what happens when you've got the Mercs that have got so much pace up in the front compared against Lance Stroll driving an Aston Martin. Let's see what is going on here then. Norris is staying on the back of him. He's unable to get that close. I think Piastri has just enough pace. However, if there's even the slightest mistake heading through turn number 8 or 9, this could all get thrown up in the air and they could be going side by side down the back straight. So, yeah, we're watching on from the rear wing of Oscar Piastri, and Lando Norris is fast approaching. I mean, Piastri has got his mirrors full of papaya, and Norris is over the radio. What is he saying over the radio? Oh no, they're just telling him, I want early overtakes. Let's attack Oscar while he doesn't have DRS. That's what they're saying over the radio. Here he comes. Oh, looks to the inside. Lando Norris looks to the inside, but he doesn't send one to the inside at the Wall of Champions. However, now coming down the next straight, he is tucked right into his teammates' DRS and slipstream. He looks to the inside, but once again, he's too far back. Can't pull off a late braking maneuver on Oscar Piastri. Piastri already brakes late enough. So, yeah, Lando Norris is going to have to fight it for another one, but this is the first time the two McLarens are going head-to-head this season. I mean, they're not going for a race win, though. That's the other thing. If they were going for a race win, that would be pretty cool, but yeah, they're only battling for 4th position by the looks of it. Antonelli looks like he's going to keep his podium. But I'm not going to speak too early. We're on lap number 63 of 70. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, everyone, for hitting the like button, for subscribing. It very much is appreciated. Hopefully, we can make our way towards 175k subs. I will be doing a giveaway for Surfshark VPN. All you've got to do to enter the giveaway is hit the subscribe button and type a message into the chat, and you will you'll enter the giveaway. So yeah, and once you get Surfshark VPN, you can watch Formula 1 for free via Austria. All you've got to do is go onto Google and search up Servers TV, and job done. Then you can watch Formula 1. Alrighty then, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Going into the final stages of this race, 7 laps left to go. We've got a fastest lap of the race there from George Russell. Yeah, clearly he had pace left in the bank, and he has broken that gap up to Max Verstappen. Looks like that's not going to happen. However, Piastri has just done something very, very important. He's just got within DRS range of Antonelli, and that might just save him from an attack from Lando Norris. He gets DRS through this next DRS zone. If he can keep DRS on Antonelli, it's going to be so difficult for Norris to overtake him, and that's his job then. That is his job. All he's got to do, stay within 1 second of Antonelli, and he should have the 4th place in the bag. Do you think traffic is blocking Charles from a podium? No. Charles is in 6th position. He is 18 seconds off a podium. Like, there is no way Charles is scoring a podium this weekend. Alrighty then. 7 laps left to go. Piastri has got DRS on Antonelli, and that is saving him. Norris is getting close and closer, and that's what they said over the radio. Try to overtake Piastri before he gets DRS on Antonelli, and he didn't manage to do that. Didn't manage to get the overtake done, and is now losing out and potentially losing a 4th place spot. And also losing points to his teammates. That's the critical thing. Currently, the gap between the two drivers is 10 points. If the positions stay the way they are, that gap is going to be extended from 10 to 12 points. All right, who is going to be your driver of the day? I've got to put it to Kimi Antonelli, really. There's no doubt about it. He's just driven fantastically. And under pressure from Oscar Piastri, a papaya McLaren in his mirrors, but not a single mistake from the rookie. So I've got to give it to him. Okie dokes. F1 Gamer, if Max pushes hard and not crash, could he catch up to George and win? Because Antonelli is also pushing, George could lose out second place. No. If Max pushes hard, he's just going to wear out his tyres even more. Max, on the previous stint, after 25 laps, started wearing out his tyres. Like after 23 laps or so, his tyres sort of fell off a cliff. Currently, he's done 27 laps on these tyres, so he doesn't really want to push any harder than he's already got to. And oh my god, this looks fantastic. The top third, fourth, and fifth position. It's a three-way fight for third position. Who is it going to be, ladies and gentlemen? Sonoda gets the position up on Colapinto. Borsaletto gets ahead of Hadjar, a little bit more overtaking going at the back of the pack. But all eyes now. Antonelli versus Piastri versus Norris. Who is it going to be? Rookie of the season also heating up. Indeed it is. Antonelli scoring a podium. Isaac Hadjar has not had a good race. I mean, admittedly, his strategy wasn't great, but he's done 52 laps on a set of hard tyres, which is fantastic. Especially given that he's a rookie, you know? Like, fantastic job from Isaac Hadjar. But obviously the car just doesn't have the pace. Oh, Norris overtakes Piastri into the chicane. What? Piastri, into the hairpin, sorry. Piastri makes a mistake, and they are side by side. It's a drag race between the two McLarens heading towards the wall of champions. Someone's looking to cut him off. It's Piastri looking to cut off Norris and going through the chicane. Who maintains the lead? It is Oscar Piastri. What a defensive maneuver. Going now into turn number one. Norris over the grass. Oh my god, huge crash. Huge crash. Yellow flags out. Front wing destroyed. Norris is out of the race and he drives over the grass, ends his Grand Prix. The safety car is going to have to come out. We're going to finish the race under the safety car. Norris has ruined his chances of getting any points this weekend, and he was trying to overtake down the inside. He was trying to be brave, overtaking on the grass, and that is it. Wow. Oh my goodness me. They're surely bringing out the safety car for this. We're on lap number 67 of, and there we go. Safety car's out. Safety car is out, and that's it then. We're going to finish the race behind the safety car, I think. A little anticlimactic. Or maybe we'll get one lap of racing because Norris is right next to the pits. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Lando Norris trying to overtake his teammate. It all kicks off. He gets his front wing breaks. He crashes into the barrier as well, I think. And that is the end of the race. That's the end of the race for Norris. What? Oh my god. The first time the two McLarens start battling amongst themselves, and that's it, and that is game over. Lando Norris gets out of the car, damage to his front left. He is going to be absolutely devastated with that. Norris sent a really good move into the hairpin, and then the two McLarens were side by side, drag racing down the casino straight. Incredible scenes, really. Piastri on the inside line, Norris on the outside line. Norris, though, had a tiny bit of a better run because he got slipstream from the driver ahead. He was looking to cut off Piastri, but Piastri so late on the brakes. Incredible defensive maneuver. Then going down the start-finish straight, what happened? Piastri was taking the inside line. Norris went over the grass to try and overtake him, and that was it. He went over the grass, broke his front wing into the barriers, race over, and Lando Norris is out of this race. Wow. Let's get a replay here. Did he? Okay, so he hit. This is totally Norris's fault, by the way. Like, it is not Piastri's fault whatsoever. He says it says it over the radio. Yes, it's all my bad, all my fault. Unlucky, sorry, stupid from me. So this is Norris's fault. He's admitted to that immediately. But the points gap that was previously 10 points is now up to 22 points. Oscar Piastri is doing a fantastic job this season, and his teammate has just thrown away a whole bunch of points. Oh, Lando Norris, what are you doing? We got 3 laps after this race here, folks. We're on lap number 68 of 70. Thanks for everyone for tuning in, hitting the like button, subscribing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not in the Lando Norris era. We are most certainly in the Oscar Piastri era. All right. Also, another stat, we've not had. Oh wait, who's this coming into the pits? Is this? Oh no, this is a replay. Never mind. Wow. All right, so we might get a final lap showdown, ladies and gentlemen. Are they letting the lapped cars unlap themselves? I don't think so. We may actually be getting a final lap showdown. Let's see. How long is it going to take to clear up this car? Yeah, all of the drivers are driving through the pit lane because there's a bunch of debris down the start-finish straight, so that's why they're driving through the pit lane. But, yeah. The tractor's already picked up Lando Norris's car, but we're on lap number 69 of 70, which is very nice, by the way, folks. Lap number 69 of 70. Yeah. Okay. With the safety car, Max could catch George on hards. No, with the safety car, we are, I think, going to finish behind the safety car. We'll get a message from race control soon enough. Normally, they send out the message if the safety car is coming in this lap or not, or when the car's coming down the back straight at the casino straight. So I'll let you know if we're going to end the race like this or not. Yeah, a couple of these drivers saying they should not restart, and of course, Ocon saying they shouldn't restart. He's got Oliver Behrman behind him on a fresh set of softs. Let's see. Also, folks, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure to do so. Hopefully, if we hit 175k, we've got 40,000 people watching the channel for watching the stream. Oh, Verstappen just overtook me under the safety car. That's what Russell's just said. Oh. Is this going to be a penalty point for Max Verstappen? If they finish under the safety car as well, if he gets a 10-second time penalty or anything like that, that's going to drop him right to the back of the pack because everyone's so bunched up. So that's what Russell's just come over the radio saying Verstappen overtook him under the safety car. Okay, well, that'll get investigated. I don't know what the penalty normally is for that because it was a very minor infringement. He didn't actually overtake him and stay ahead. He just sort of jumped ahead of him and then suddenly came behind him as well because they're braking, speeding up, slowing down, weaving left, right. So we'll see what the stewards say. Okay, but this is it, ladies and gentlemen. The safety car is not coming in, as you can see, and the drivers are still going through the pit lane. We are on the final lap of the race, a bit of an anticlimactic race. I think this is the 7th time in Formula 1 history we are finishing behind the safety car. It's not every time that this happens, but that is what's happening this weekend. A bit of an anticlimactic finish after Lando Norris totally bottles the race and bins himself into the barrier. And that's that, really, folks. That is that. Lando Norris gets 0 points this weekend. Piastri with 12 points gained. Verstappen with 8 points gained. Russell with 25. Leclerc with 10. Hamilton with 8. And we get Carlos Sainz scoring points. Fernando Alonso scoring points. Hülkenberg scoring points. And Haas as well. Ocon in 9th position. Haas for their 200th Grand Prix of the team. They are also scoring points. Great to see. All right. Is the safety car in this lap? No. It does say the pit lane entry is open. I don't know if that's particularly relevant or not, but we'll wait and see. The track is clear. That's what they're saying. Track is clear. So maybe some running. There's no way of knowing. Alonso in P7 with that tractor. Indeed so. Yeah, it wouldn't make much sense really to penalise Max. Like, he didn't actually overtake George and then stay ahead of him. Like, if he just sort of by accident went ahead under the sort of the weaving of behind the safety car, that'll be that. But ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is the end of the Canadian Grand Prix. I'm going to read out the positions for anyone listening to this like a radio broadcast. We've got George Russell in first position, taking his first win. We've got first win of the season. We've got Max Verstappen in second place. Kimi Antonelli scores a podium. First podium for the rookie sensation. Absolutely brilliant job from him. And then we've got Oscar Piastri in fourth place, Charles Leclerc in fifth, Lewis Hamilton in sixth, Fernando Alonso in seventh, Nico Hülkenberg in eighth, Ocon in ninth, Sainz in 10th, Behrman 11th, Tsunoda 12th, Colapinto 13th, Bortoletto 14th, Gasly 15th, Hadjar 16th, and Stroll 17th. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been the Canadian Grand Prix. What a race, what a turn of events right at the end of there. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. I hope to see you around for 2 weeks' time for the race in Austria. It'll be absolutely fantastic. Austria's got 3 DRS zones, so many overtaking opportunities, and if the battle is as anything as close as it was this weekend and in yesterday's qualifying, it's going to be such a good race out in Austria. So I hope to see you guys there. But I really have got to go. The tyre history is all messed up because the drivers are driving through the pit lane, so yeah, don't worry about that. But that is the end of the race, folks. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. I'm going to end the stream now. It will take you over to the Austrian Grand Prix stream. If you could hit the like button and the reminder button, it really does help out the channel. But apart from that, it's been a pleasure commentating to you guys, and I hope to see you all in 2 weeks' time for the race in Austria. George Russell wins, Max Verstappen in second place, and Kimi Antonelli with his first podium in Formula One. Absolutely incredible. Thank you everyone for all of the nice messages in the chat, and yeah, see you later. Bye-bye.